Hey, T-shippers, come on in.
It doubled in price.
Come on in, come on in. So I'm listening to, I was sent that there was a raid going on at Tyler Robinson, the shooter's parents' house. The actual raid is going on. Thought we would check it out. Then I'm gonna also listen. Here it goes.
So one thing that was just passed over to me.
Hold on.
Seems like the governor of Utah and CHARLIEKIRK have a little history here. Where at one point, CHARLIEKIRK was calling for here. But here we go, folks. It looks like that's the vehicle there that Tyler Robinson used to drive to the university and drive back. So we're going to monitor this. I'm expecting they closed it off, and FBI will probably most likely be
Hold
seizing
on.
things from the property.
Let me set this up for us.
So we don't know what's happening here. It looks like they're securing the home for this inevitable raid or seizure of things. Evidence. So we are live.
Shout out to
We're going to be
JL.
monitoring this situation going on. CHARLIEKIRK assassination, shooter's home. There is an FBI raid going on. We shall see. We shall see what's going on here, what they're going to seize. If at all, they might not even seize anything, but they, in the last 30 minutes, they have came to the property. They're there. Before 30 minutes, there was just reporters out there making reports in front of the home. Pretty wild and crazy, folks. So we're going to monitor what's going on here. The shooter's home, an FBI raid, search warrant. Search warrant, for sure. Search warrant.
Oh.
Because remember, he got picked up sometime overnight.
He did not get picked up. He turned himself in. He turned himself in.
County Jail at 8 a.m. and now we got police at the scene at the house.
The authorities are raiding Tyler Robinson's
and they're pushing
family home.
That seems like that is the vehicle. That's the vehicle. That's the vehicle used. As we heard from authorities this morning at a press conference. And they're apparently they're searching multiple locations. So we'll get an understanding of what's going on. Come on in, folks. For sure they're taking the car, absolutely. And I made a video and posted a video just 20 minutes ago, and I said, that vehicle there could have a treasure trove of evidence in there. Not only that, but we don't know if there's a
come on in
there. We don't know
the family of Tyler Robinson, his parents' home,
bullets,
is being raided. Now, I thought he had his own apartment. Oh, I'm sorry. Who's here? Hey, Willis Spencer, Cynthia, Reflections. Right, we back.
Authorities are at the scene, and they're doing something. They
back so fast. Yeah, stop playing. Yeah.
Both sides of the house.
Shout out to Stop Playing.
Across the road. So we got
shout out to Stop Playing. Hey, Keisha.
Police raid, combination of both. It is believed that this shooter here is going to be federally charged here, imminent.
Please hit the like button. The tea stay hot, don't it?
State charges here.
The tea stays hot.
Also lived at another location too, apparently. But he's charged on the state level: aggravated murder, felony discharge.
Oh no, they've changed that. This is the car, y'all.
On the state level, pending
That's
federal
that's what they're
charges here.
saying.
We don't know what they're going to take.
But his parents' home is being raided.
Right there, that challenger. The FBI is probably going to be coming in shortly. A lot of times with these FBI raids, you know, assistant with the state, they'll be working together in partnership. Sometimes not. Maybe it's the state that's going to go in there and take things, because remember, he's charged state. The address on the affidavit of probable cause is the same address you see here. We'll call it Samarin Drive in Washington, Utah. It's called Samarin Drive. Oh, there they are, FBI. FBI, there you go. Like clockwork, FBI.
Yeah, he just said it. There goes the F, the B, and the I. There goes the F, the B, and the I. Let me back that thing up.
I don't know what they're going to take. I believe it's that challenger right there, that challenger. The FBI is probably going to be coming in shortly. A lot of times with these FBI raids, you know, assistant with the state, they'll be working together in partnership. Sometimes not. Maybe it's the state that's going to go in there and take things, because remember, he's charged state.
No, he's going to be charged federally.
The address on the affidavit of probable cause is the same address you see here. We'll call it Samarin Drive in Washington, Utah. It's called Samarin Drive. Oh, there they are, FBI. FBI, there you go. Like clockwork, FBI. FBI. She had FBI on the back. They're there.
Yep, they are there.
FBI is at the home. There you go. FBI's there. So
and they lived well. They say he has donated recently like $200 to Trump. My God.
All right, FBI raid at the shooter's home.
He was a conservative.
Now, Google Maps, they have a bunch of vehicles there, man. They had a Jeep there. They had a nice RV on the side there.
Yeah, he was a conservative. Can you imagine that? Y'all, please hit the like button.
What does feel a lot more finished is the Opera browser. Like, it has a music player built into the sidebar, and it is perfect. Because it means you're not fumbling around in your tabs like, where the hell is this music playing?
FBI raid. Shooter's home. I appreciate everyone for coming in and stopping in as we covered the big announcement this morning that this guy right here, 22-year-old Tyler.
Shout out to JR.
Been arrested in connection with the assassination, murder, killing of CHARLIEKIRK, co-founder of Turning Point USA. And now we take you to the shooter's parents' home, along with a residence that.
Yeah, I only have 15 likes. Please hit the like button as you enter in. Sleeping cell number. So how to do the job.
Unless they have another challenger, it seems like this is the challenger, the gray challenger that they described.
You know, I'm gonna come right.
I'm sure they're gonna go in with boxes.
I'm gonna come right there. No, just so you know, you're good. I just want you to know when I start walking why I'm doing that. I appreciate it.
Okay. FBI is there.
Colonel, good afternoon from the city of Washington, Utah, about 120 miles from Las Vegas.
All right, he's going to do his report. We'll listen in. We'll listen in on the report. FBI raid at the parents' home of the assassin.
I didn't know we had a play. Yes, sir. How are you, Mike? Thanks for having me.
So we're going to monitor this.
Just so you know, I'm going to say hello and get right out of the shot so you can see the house and the car.
I expect a tow truck to probably come to, or a flatbed. Probably flatbed.
No, my power just went off. power just went off in my earbuds, and so I guess you're gonna have to cue me on speakerphone.
Or we'll see exactly what they take from this home.
You're gonna have to cue Henry on this phone. I can't hear you. My eyes and ears. Make sure that they can hear you.
Shooter's parents.
You've got to. No, it has to be on me. Okay, fine. But then you have to be able to hear them. Okay. All right. Yeah, got you. I can hear you, Caroline, but Henry is giving me the cues because my earbuds just died.
Well, the father's name is Matthew Carl Robinson, and the mom's name is Amber Robinson.
Oh, hey man, we got a while. Making me freak out. Okay. So Caroline, I know it's 10 minutes, but you're just gonna have to give Henry all the cues because I can't hear you or myself with the audio because my ears died. All right, super, thank you.
Search warrant. Dodge Challenger in the driveway. This is the vehicle used.
Take you live, take it, then a pan off, and then they'll run video, and then they'll do that.
I can't believe my earbuds died. I charged them on the way here.
Well, your phone's up with you, that's what mine is. Is this phone a Thunderbolt or
USB-C? Oh, it's open up over here. I think it's good.
We are at Washington, Utah.
From the city of Washington, Utah, 120 miles from Las Vegas. See your mic real quick?
All right, so they're there. They're the FBI and the police. Are here. All right, for people who are coming in, welcome aboard. We're going to watch and see exactly what they take from the home. Arl Tyler Robinson with his parents. They live here at this home in Washington, Utah, and the FBI and police are at this scene. I believe they're going to be towing this vehicle at the very least. We'll see if they go in with boxes. We'll see what they come in and out with. Unclear where the parents are, but I believe the parents could be inside the home. Will they recover any additional firearm, weapon, bullets? We don't know what they're going to find inside this home. The FBI are there. They walked in the front door. And police have the road blocked off. I mean, this guy could have some sort of explosive. I mean, he's at
Henry can hear you. My earbuds died.
he pushed everyone back too.
Henry can hear you. You're talking to Henry and giving your cues to Henry.
We are live. Thank you, William Kaufman. Nice to see you. Again, each and every day, William. Thank you.
Hey, Coke, crash out. They raiding the shooter's house, parents' house.
Maybe something's going on here. I don't know. Maybe.
But I thought they said earlier that
shootings a day later, they usually go to residents affiliated with the shooter. Like
okay, well I thought they would have went to his house,
Trump failed to set an
apartment.
assassination attempt on Trump. They went to Crooks, his family's Bethel Park home, blocked off the street, and conducted a search warrant.
Problem with having such a huge forehead.
The FBI are there.
Connell, good afternoon. Open up flat.
Hey, Simone from London. Hey, Simone Smith from London. What it do? What time is it
We're
there?
watching an FBI search warrant raid.
Hi,
police raid
Kona.
in real time.
4 minutes.
Are you from the island of Kona in Hawaii? The dad will comply with. The dad will comply. The dad is a sheriff. Oh, wow.
Actually, I didn't.
That's interesting. Wow. But hey, y'all, listen. They say he is a conservative, and that he has recently donated $200 to Trump.
All right, so what are they going to find? What are they going to find inside this
Let me show y'all that.
shooter's
Hold
parents'
on.
home or the shooter's home? Remember, folks, he also received some sort of scholarship to Utah State University. That there was a video out on him on that.
Y'all listening to this?
All the places he stayed at. Well, we shall see what they get, if at all. I'm sure they'll get something. Welcome aboard, folks. JLR investigates. We got an FBI raid.
Was inducted,
at
needed
the parents' home of the shooter.
when he left for college because the college he attended was highly corrupted.
I'm an investigator. Yes, I'm an investigative reporter at KLAS TV.
Hold on.
And just a reminder, you're doing Henry to cue me.
Where did I see that at?
Connell, good afternoon from the city of Washington, Utah, about 120 miles from Las Vegas. The house behind me, the gray one. Are you serious?
Yeah. We're trying to clarify about his residence. The local churches, they all say secure.
Does anybody know? No, we're in Washington. Wait, Washington County and the city of Washington. Wait a minute.
We're in Washington, Utah.
No, wait a minute. But we're in Washington. I trust writers. Okay. You do, I trust them.
Washington, Utah.
Oh, you're not. But I mean, you nodded too. Okay, thank you. Thank you for checking. That would have sent me. So what is it? Washington. Yeah, on the border of St. George. Like the actual border. I just didn't know if you were kidding. You have one of those faces where you could have been kidding. I appreciate it. Our little internet searches came up with both. Like accurate.
FBI raid.
The one I paid for.
Come on in. We're going to be watching what they take. as long as the speed is up.
Yep, what they
If
bring
at all,
out.
I'm sure they're going to be coming out in boxes and going in with boxes.
What's my hair?
Shocked to know.
Which one?
Hold on, let me get to it.
Let's step up. Waiting for this live shot to go a little bit. Tunnel. 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 Tunnel, good afternoon from the city of Washington, Utah, 120 miles from Vegas.
Washington, Utah.
Massive FBI raid going on.
The father is the
And I
one who
think they're going to
turned
be bringing
him
more
in
agents there, possibly.
when he confessed to his
Along with
dad.
seizing that Dodge Challenger there, the gray one. This is
Yeah,
it
I
appears
heard
the
that he
same
turned
vehicle.
his dad and a friend
We are
went,
live.
and the
Yes, we are live.
pastor. Mm, sad.
So the address here at this location is the 800 block of West Cimarron, CIMMA or CIMARRON Drive in Washington. The 800 block. As a matter of fact, the address is
Good afternoon from
894.
the city of Washington, Utah, about 120 miles away from Las Vegas. This house behind me is the family home of the young man police say assassinated Charlie Kirk the other day. About 2 minutes before 1 p.m. local time, a uniformed officer came up to the entire assembled media and told us to move about something he called concerning. We do not know what that something was. I think it would be inappropriate to speculate, but if you also look in the driveway, you'll see the gray Dodge Charger that Robinson was reported to have driven off the campus after the shooting. He was apparently not a student at Utah Valley University, where Kirk was shot and killed, not too far from Salt Lake City. Of course, Kirk was visiting that college for a debate like the ones he is known for attending across the country, where he would challenge people who didn't agree with his conservative viewpoints. Kirk was shot in the neck Wednesday and bled from his neck there, which was all caught on camera. His neighbors were trying to come to grips with what happened this morning.
They said there's somebody. Did you hear what he said? He said something concerning. Something concerning. What does that mean?
We will see, won't we? Please double tap. Just double tap the
Something
face of your
concerning,
screen
or
on
is
your
that just an
phone.
excuse to push the media back? Because
Of the
about an
3
hour
dots
ago,
at the top.
there was literally many people, spectators, media, social media personalities, media itself. They were all making videos in front of the shooter's home. They were driving by, people were stopped, spectators were going there, neighbors were coming out, people were talking to neighbors. This was all happening like less than an hour ago. Pretty much happening since probably if people started going there once they identified.
He did not think this through, y'all.
The sheriff here fielded 11,000 tips, he says, especially after authorities released footage of the suspect climbing and jumping down from the roof of.
But he is a Trump supporter. Let me repeat. He is a Trump supporter. The young man who unalived CHARLIEKIRK is a Trump supporter.
What could that be?
He is not a
Parents
Democrat.
getting threatened?
He is not a radical left. Hi, Marie. The young man, Tyler Robinson, donated $200 to Trump 47. He is not a Democrat. Says FBI didn't get him. White male, not trans, not black.
We shall wait and see what happens here.
Conservative upbringing, pro-guns, Mormon Christian. Donated $200 to Trump 47.
Something concerning going on.
He's not African American either. I said not, Marie, I said not black. What was his motive? I don't know.
too. So they have like, you know.
And they
pushed
said
back.
earlier that he
Clearly
recently
saw FBI go inside the home.
didn't agree
The
with
dad's getting threatened. Have people swatted. I mean, we don't know what's going on. Raid, search warrant for
Charlie's
Robinson
hate.
Dodge Challenger still there.
He's spewed
This is
hate. I don't
supposed
know.
to
I
be
think
the
I heard
vehicle used
something about
that
Israel.
Tyler used to go travel 4 hours to the north to assassinate Charlie Kirk and then come back home. Why isn't the Challenger in police possession? Can have a treasure trove of evidence.
Yeah, he drove himself.
The hardest thing is to get started. You have to get it on.
They drove him to the.
We have started.
No stone.
But I'm sure they're gonna tow it off
have
now.
all types of things in there: engravings, scriptures, writings. Who knows what's in the trunk? Who knows what's in the glove compartment? Who knows what's planted in there? Who knows if there was other writings and other plots or you know, confessions or manifestos? You don't know what's in that vehicle there. Why doesn't authorities have it? It should be in police custody. Tow the car. Some people say, well, maybe they already looked in it, determined it doesn't have any evidentiary value.
They will
But
still be holding.
folks, I mean, come on. Maybe they're there for this. Maybe they're just saying something concerning, push people back, then they do their raid or their search warrant.
He also made comments of Nazi Antifa slogans after he assassinated Charlie Kirk. Wow. They also said that he had been.
Something concerning. They're
Hold
there
on.
because of something concerning. What could that be?
He was asking about them Epstein files too.
Something concerning. What's going to happen here? We shall see. I want to see what they get or what they do, or do they just leave? We shall see.
On a day of mourning, a national day of mourning for Charlie Kirk. So let me just say this. I don't believe anyone should be shot for their political beliefs or for any other reason. I have marched for safe gun laws my entire life. After every school shooting, every mass shooting, every church shooting, and the right wing says thoughts and prayers, or as Charlie Kirk
Melissa,
said, that's the
tears.
price we pay for keeping our guns. I don't believe anyone should be shot, and not this guy either. But let's remember who the fuck this guy was, huh? Homosexuals should be shot, he said, because they're an abomination. The way to fix homelessness is to lock them all up. Black people don't have brain processing power, so if he gets on a flight with a black pilot, he's nervous. Women shouldn't be allowed to vote.
This was his
He
opinion.
said a lot of shit. I don't think he should have been killed for it. But I don't think we need a national day of mourning. What about the Democrats that were shot in their home as they slept by someone with a Democratic hit list? Where was the outrage? Where was the tweets from this piece of shit president, huh? Or the 3 kids that were shot the very same day as Charlie Kirk? No, no one should be shot. We need gun reform. This ain't gonna do it, because nothing else has. But what it is going to do, and already has done, is radicalize the right wing even more. They're talking about putting down the radical left, and they don't even have a suspect. Laura Loomer says use the power of the state to put down the radical left, the violent radical left. and they don't even have a suspect. It's about to go down, people. Pay attention. On a day of mourning.
Oh, she said it's about to go down. Pay attention.
What is so
It's
concerning?
about to go down. Y'all, please hit the like button coming in. Oh my God. Let's go.
Kirk. So let me just say this. I don't believe anyone should be shot for their political beliefs or for any other reason. I have marched for safe gun laws my entire life. After every school shooting, every mass shooting, every church shooting, and the right wing says thoughts and prayers, or as Charlie Kirk said, that's the price we pay for keeping our guns. I don't believe anyone should be shot, and not this guy either. But let's remember who the fuck this guy was, huh? Homosexuals should be shot, he said, because they're an abomination. The way to fix homelessness is to lock them all up. Black people don't have brain processing power, so if he gets on a flight with a black pilot, he's nervous. Women shouldn't be allowed to vote. He said a lot of shit. I don't think he should have been killed for it.
Right.
But I don't think we need a national day of mourning. What about the Democrats that were shot in their home as they slept by someone with a Democratic hit list? Where was the outrage? Where was the tweets from this piece of shit president, huh? Or the 3 kids that were shot the very same day as Charlie Kirk? No, no one should be shot. We need gun reform. This ain't gonna do it, because nothing else has. But what it is going to do, and already has done, is radicalize the right wing even more. They're talking about putting down the radical left, and they don't even have a suspect. Laura Loomer says use the...
One more before we go back to the raid. Hold on.
Dear Maga, Charlie Kirk was right about one thing for sure. It was this.
We as the American people deserve to have every Epstein file released with no redaction whatsoever, period. Right. And so, yesterday, I don't want to comment because a lot of these people are my friends, but they gotta make it right. And we, the American people, ran on transparency. We deserve to see the entire client list. Every document the government has regarding the Epstein files, we, the American people, should have on an easy-to-access website immediately in a very, very quick fashion.
Who agrees with Charlie Kirk here? Dear Maga, Charlie Kirk was right about one thing for sure. It was this.
We as the American people deserve to have every Epstein file released with no redaction whatsoever, period. Right. And so, yesterday, I don't want to comment because a lot of these people are my friends, but
they are his friends.
And we, the American people, ran on transparency. We deserve to see the entire client list. Every document the government has regarding the Epstein files, we, the American people, should have on an easy-to-access website immediately in a very, very quick fashion.
Who agrees with Charlie Kirk here?
Yeah, please double.
Charlie Kirk was right about one thing for sure.
Please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate it.
People deserve to have every Epstein file released with no redaction whatsoever, period. Right. And so, yesterday, I don't want to comment because a lot of these people are my friends, but they got to make it right. And we, the American people, ran.
We, the American people. We, the people. In order to form a more perfect union. I'm trying to see these charges. Hold on. I got one more. Wait a minute. Hold on.
Realize that Epstein, with his little friend Ghislaine and Ghislaine's father, Robert Maxwell, who was obviously a spy of the Israeli intelligence agencies.
How did Trump feel about this, though?
Something else going on here. Epstein was not some sort of whiz kid hedge fund manager. Epstein was playing a part. Epstein was a LARPer. Epstein was cast for a specific role, and he played it really well. The sweatpants and the Harvard jacket. The kind of disheveled hair, looking as if he was so smart and above the clouds that he was doing advanced mathematic equations on the back of napkins. But if you actually go into some of the videos of people that met with Epstein at the time, they said he was awfully unimpressive when it came to finance and markets and economics. And it's nothing new that if you're in the intel agencies, you want to try and get as much blackmail on powerful people as possible. Easy, not hard. And this is no longer just speculation. First of all, the evidence that shows that Epstein was a creation of either Mossad, Israeli intelligence, American intelligence, Saudi intelligence, or maybe he was just a hired gun. Maybe he was just the guy that countries would go to and park a couple $100 million and say, hey, can you get one of the members of the royal family with a 13-year-old so we can get them to do what we want to do? Members of Congress are actively being blackmailed. The Epstein playbook is being used on a daily basis. Jeffrey Epstein was not a financier. He was not a hedge fund manager. Jeffrey Epstein was a key player in a multi-decade blackmail operation against the most powerful people on the planet. Realize that Epstein, with his little friend Ghislaine and Ghislaine's father, Robert Maxwell, who was obviously a spy of the Israeli intelligence agencies.
This is what Pressure was telling me.
Here. Epstein was not some sort of whiz kid hedge
that
fund
I would
manager.
Be surprised how he felt.
Was playing a part. Epstein was a LARPer. Epstein was cast for a specific role, and he played it really well. The sweatpants and the Harvard jacket, the kind of disheveled hair, looking as if he was so smart and above the clouds that he was doing advanced mathematic equations on the back of napkins. But if you actually go into some of the videos of people that met with Epstein at the time, they said he was awfully unimpressive when it came to finance and markets and economics. And it's nothing new that if you're in the intel agencies, you want to try and get as much blackmail on powerful people as possible. Easy, not hard. And this is no longer just speculation. First of all, the evidence that shows that Epstein was a creation of either Mossad, Israeli intelligence, American intelligence, Saudi intelligence, or maybe he was just a hired gun. Maybe he was just the guy that countries would go to and park a couple $100 million and say, hey, can you get one of the members of the royal family with a 13-year-old so we can get them to do what we want to do? Members of Congress are actively being...
Wow. Let's get back to the raid. I just saw the FBI was coming out. Let's check it out, y'all. But first, double tap the screen. I mean, y'all holding out on the likes. Like, share, subscribe. Join the membership. Become a member of the Tea Palace with the tea sippers. We appreciate the little gift box at the bottom on your phone. If you are on your phone, you can send some gems, super chat, super sticker. That's where the $ is in the little box. Or you can send a cash app to Auntie Fee, $AUNTEAFEE. I would greatly appreciate however you support. But double tap the screen for now.
What are they gonna find?
Let's go. They most definitely came out.
What is so concerning?
And I paused it for us. They are at Tyler
Thank you, Jeff.
Robinson's parents' house.
See, Dad, I'm not drunk. Feels like another false flag attack by AIPAC Israel to stir both sides. Remember, Charlie Kirk feared for his life for speaking out against Israel a few days before his assassination. Sandy the priest. Was little brother helping them? He does have it. Oh, what do they got? What do they got? Oh, a dog. A dog. What do they got? A dog. They sent a dog in there.
Probably a bomb dog.
They sent a dog. You see the dog? What in the heck's happening here? They're sweeping the area for bombs?
Yeah.
Oh, a dog. A dog. What do they got? A dog. They sent a dog in there. They sent a dog. You see the dog? Feels like another false flag attack by AIPAC Israel to stir both sides. Remember, Charlie Kirk feared for his life for speaking out against Israel a few days before his assassination. Sandy the priest was little brother helping him. He does have it. Oh, what do they got? What do they got? Oh, a dog. A dog. What do they got? A dog. They sent a dog in there. They sent a dog. You see the dog? What in the heck's happening here? They're sweeping the area for bombs? What's going on? Dog. What's happening here? Bomb sniffing dog, probably. They're doing a sweep before they go in.
Wow.
Could have been their dog. It looked like one of those canines. It looked like a German Shepherd to me.
Oh yeah, that was definitely a German
People are saying
Shepherd.
in the chat, bomb sniffing dog.
For the dog lovers, that was definitely a German Shepherd.
Who knows? They might think that this guy booby trapped his house.
Lassie. Who remembers Lassie? Oh, hey, Rudolph. Hey, Purple Flower. Okay.
We'll see what comes out of this and what they find and what's going on, what this is about. Preliminary stages before they officially go in. It's like a process. Oh, that went that way.
You know, all of this, and now we're finding out that he is a Republican.
FBI raid.
A Trump supporter, a conservative. Makes no sense other than the brainwashing.
Shooter does have a younger brother. Apparently the parents were teaching both of them how to use firearms.
Oh, wow.
There's lots of videos out there, not videos, but photos that we've seen with the shooter and his brother.
She said, a moderator on today. May God bless our love all so very much. Oh, God is love.
Similar to what we saw with Thomas Crooks. Day after the assassination. The day happened, Thomas Crooks dead. Next day, in the morning, they're already at the parents' Bethel
Once
Park
again,
home,
he does not support Trump.
Blocked off the street.
Obviously.
I'm surprised they let
that don't mean. Hold on, Conan. Hold on. That does not necessarily mean that. You said obviously. That's not obvious. He had a problem with. He had a problem with Charlie. I never said he had a problem with Trump. I mean, so you want me to believe what you're saying just because you said it. So what's the difference? Kona? Just because you said it, I'm supposed to believe it. And just because somebody else says something that makes sense to me, I'm being brainwashed. That's called manipulation. You trying to manipulate me? How do I know it comes from the FBI mouth? How do I know that? Just because you said it? So let it play out and don't try to manipulate me just because I made that comment. Now you want me to believe only what you said. Everybody's an FBI agent if you let them tell it. I mean, right? Anybody can say it. I can't see your badge. I can't see your credentials.
Sometimes they push you back like a block.
I mean, respectfully, right?
All right, so we've seen FBI come in and out. We'll see what we get here.
Well, you said it came out of an FBI agent's mouth. How do I know
We'll
that?
see what comes out. We'll see what
I
they
don't
find,
know
what
that.
they get.
But I take everything with a grain of
Plus,
salt.
they already done the raid last night.
You know, I've went along with what you were saying, but I'm going along with that. And just because someone is a conservative and a Trump, they said he donated. I'm not donating anything to Trump. But if someone started having issues and concerns with Charlie, his views,
it appears
that doesn't have anything to do with Trump.
Some of the media reports: police have swarmed the family home of accused assassin Tyler Robinson, ordering
that's my
media
opinion.
To clear out as helicopters circle overhead.
I didn't say. I was listening to the report this morning. Kush Patel was right there. So, well, we know he lied. He's already confirmed that he lies, and he goes along with the program. So,
and we're here. We're gonna see what this is.
We know he will lie. Gave people a chance to debate him.
Nice to see you.
And he shut them down in a nice way, but truth in a nice way, but and you guys who did that? Who is you guys, Kona? Now you're going off somewhere. What do you mean, and you guys? Who is that? Come back. You going somewhere way over there. Come on, Kona. Y'all 507 votes. Come on, what are we doing?
Of Tyler Robinson, the 22-year-old. They moved him also at the time of the arrest. They moved him from that county there, Washington.
No, they saying he
to Utah.
They say he's a conservative. County. So how is it a Democrat? He's a Republican.
3.5 hours away.
So now you just saying anything. So you must be a troll. You contradicting yourself. You're not a hypocrite, are you? You're not a storyteller, are you?
What are they going to find inside the home?
Now it's you people. That's not the truth. And I know Kush Patel didn't say that. You making that up. You a storyteller. You telling me stories.
With Thrivent, your personal finances aren't just personal. We help your money make a difference.
You can't do that, Kona. You can't tell us stories. Now I'm looking at you with a side eye.
Others is at the heart of what we do. Thrivent, where money means more.
Raising the next generation is a big
job.
Oh
wow, come on.
But feeding them well, that should be deliciously simple. With
We're gonna see what they get, if at all.
It's like you feeding me crap and you want me to like it. I don't care nothing about Kush Patel. You definitely losing me with him. He is for sure a liar. I hear everything you say, but I'm not buying everything you say. Again, just because you said it, Kona, does not mean I have to accept it. I saw it. I see what you're pushing. I see what you want me to accept, but I don't believe everything that you have posted. So respectfully, right? I don't believe everything that you're saying. You have no proof. And Kush Patel standing behind him is not proof enough for me. Is that okay? That I don't believe everything that you're saying right now? I need proof. Is proof a problem? And Kush Patel standing there is not proof. It is. He has already proven that he will go along with a lie. I've seen that firsthand myself. So find me somebody other than Kush Patel that's reliable. He's not. He had two suspects, and he said that he had the actual shooter, and that was a lie. That was a bold-faced lie. So no, Kush Patel standing there is not it for me. But nice try, though.
All right, so far we haven't seen anyone go back in, and we don't know how many people are in there, if at all. We knew that the road's blocked off. I mean, still trying to gather up what's going on here. The parents' home. Jeep. Thank you, Jeep. They might be here for hours getting things. We're gonna see. I'm gonna see what they get.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be here for hours. I need to go other places. Trump is weaponizing them.
We'll see exactly what they get out of the. Oh, I thought I saw someone.
We're gonna be listening in dual places. Hold on.
Her view was the fact that you have officials really speculating as to the motivation, of the shooter, which is not something that you would typically hear from officials at a press conference like this. I mean, typically law enforcement officials are going to give you a very sterile accounting of.
Mike, that's his mugshot, by the way. This is new information. Go on.
Yeah, a sterile account of what they know, and
okay, we're gonna be in dual places. Hold on.
Climate.
Give them an opportunity to go in and look, and we're also gonna listen.
We've heard some pretty incendiary statements from.
Hold on.
So Fox 13. Let me get this article up because they're also saying that there's another location. They're also searching up because they're also saying that there's another. A police presence is currently at 2 locations connected to the shooter. They're also at an apartment complex called Fossil Hill.
Okay, I thought he stayed in an apartment as well. I thought he had a roommate.
They appear to be at another residence too. Russell Robinson St. George unit in the Fossil Hills townhome.
And that sounds about right because they made mention they spoke with his roommate.
Russell Robinson St. George unit in the Fossil Hills townhome.
Oh, I'm hungry.
We'll see exactly what comes out of this. Hopefully we'll get more insight shortly, what exactly this is about. And what they get, if at all. Bomb threat? Nina Drew, thank you. Patricia P, watching you from Ardway. Thank you, Patricia P. Katie did. Nice to see you. Thank you. Katie did. I want to see what they get, if at all, anything. Where's everyone watching from? By the way, can everyone is sharing the chat where you're watching from? Like, where's everyone watching from? Because I'm sure everyone's from around the world wondering what's going on. Drop your location. Love to see where you're from. Watch how many people say all over the place. From here. See? Lots of places all across the world. Not just the United States. It's a global case. So many people from all over. Different countries, different states, cities, all across the world watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. What do we got? We got a little movement. Police. What's the police gonna do? Kick everyone out? No?
I don't know what house, but I just tell you what, they want me, they kind of want me to.
Find
Oh,
jeans
son,
starting
that's...
at $29.90 in stores and at marisas.com.
But I'm on the camera. Just near the border of Arizona, and that is the home there behind me, the family home of the man who had been America's most wanted 22-year-old.
FBI at the parents' house.
Just near the border of Arizona, the southwest corner of Utah behind me, that is the family home of the man who had been America's most wanted, captured by the FBI.
He had $100,000 reward.
However, Robertson is he is wanted over the shooting and murder of Charlie Kirk, the influencer. There's been a lot of talk about potential motives here. This is what we know about his political.
Can I get y'all to double tap the screen, please?
Party. However, his family are Republican. We have had
just here. That's where Maga is. Yeah. So you might want to go more that way.
that is dialogue and speaker relations to the dialogue. Oh, is that long?
Yes, I'm over the ball. It's going to be a shot.
Oh, no.
Good? You want to check?
That's better. Yeah.
This is at the parents' house, Washington County. Tyler Robinson, the shooter, the assassin. The assassin of Charlie Kirk.
We're here in the southwest corner of Utah. We're here in the southwest corner of Utah near the border of Arizona, and that is
They're out there live. Please double tap the screen and hit the like button. I see 562 people have voted on the poll, but I have nowhere near 562 likes. So double tap the face of your screen or hit the 3 dots at the top on your computer, and it'll take you to the thumbs up button. Please, then thank you.
What do we know about potential motive? Well, apparently on bullets that were found near the gun, there were engravings, including the engravings.
Are y'all able to hear? Are y'all still having a clear sound, or is it buffing? Can I get some ones to let me know if you're still here?
As for political affiliation, Robertson is not affiliated or registered, at least, with any one political party, although he is believed to be a Republican family, or his parents were registered Republicans. He's expected to be charged.
Are y'all still with me?
A bunch of charges, including aggravated murder, and here in Utah, that carries with it the death penalty.
Hello, hello. T-Sippers, are you with me? Okay. Thank you. I'll be out there with a neck brace on or something. I'll be scared. And bulletproof vest. Hi, Sinlu. Hey, Amy Lynn. Where are they? Body armor. I mean, how did it get this bad? I mean, are they gonna find something? I would touch it and it ends. Yeah, let me leave it alone before I mess around and miss something. We don't want to miss nothing. Oh, wow. This is interesting. And it's going to get worse. The spirit of Jezebel. Jezebel will no longer be able to hide the shadow of the streets. Devil can't deceive you if you read the book. Jezebel. Interesting. Wasn't Jezebel kind of slutty? What did Jezebel do? I'm just asking. Jezebel. Yeah, I was trying to be nice. And she said, no, she was slutty hoe, you know, same thing. She was easy. So, that's what I'm saying. What did Jezebel do? You know, same family. What she do though? What did her spreading her legs have to do with this? I mean, you know, is this over a woman or something? Was, you know, is this about giving up the cookie for, I mean, you know. Oh, wow. I was not expecting Jezebel. Oh my.
Need to move the tripod just a little bit more.
I think it's got to be like investigated for some time.
Okay, so the term Jezebel spirit is used in some Christian articles to describe a spiritual manifestation of evil characterized by deceit, immortality, rebellion, and control, drawing inspiration from the biblical queen Jezebel. But a woman ain't done nothing yet, though. I mean, this is all men. I'm not gonna make this about women when this is about the dirty men and their deceit and manipulation. I'm gonna take this off Jezebel. This ain't no Jezebel situation. I'm sorry, I disagree. This is about a male. Find me a male whoremonger. We're not gonna make this about the women. No, no.
Yeah, you're running. Okay.
And it's going to get worse. Thank you, Naturally Narlins, for the flowers. They're rating the suspect shooter's parents' house. Okay. Well, when you read it, it talks about a woman. Yeah, it references a woman. So, but I get it. Amy.
Yeah, Mario's gonna have to stay up for a while. Just because she gets to
No, it's not going to be an issue. I'm just saying it's happening right now, so we're hopefully going to show it.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you.
How is your shot down? Okay.
Cheers.
They didn't do none of this when those other officials got on the line at their home in the bed sleep. Can we get the lights up, please? Oh, I would hate to be in any type of trouble like this in the FBI is at my mama's house or my family member's house. And oh my God, I just... Oh, yeah. He is getting a presidential treatment, although he was not even officially a part of the cabinet. His father what? Oh, we got a brother in the house. I mean, they coming out, ain't they? In full force.
Yeah, Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
My name's Tyler Robertson, 22 years of age. Everyone runs so much and living in Orem. He really was in this small town in the southwest corner of Utah. That's his family home. There's still a large FBI presence here. Let's speak to my neighbours.
You should be good.
We're not hearing you.
Less than a minute. And I'm going to step to the right.
Sounds good.
Over here, show the truck, and show all of this as best as we can. Okay?
Oh, they there, ain't they?
We know his name is Tyler Robertson, 22 years of age. Every law enforcement official in the country is looking for him, but here he was in this dusty town, corner of southwest Utah. Southwest corner of Utah. That's his family home. You can see there's still an FBI presence. I've been speaking today because this young man actually went to the same school.
Yes, 100 likes, please. Double tap your screen. Hit the 3 dots at the top. $300 will be beautiful. We had 600 plus likes the other day. My, that was beautiful. We made history together. Well, Auntie Fee history. You know what I mean.
Lizzie, we know his name is Tyler Robertson, 22 years of age. Every single law enforcement official in the United States of America was looking for this suspect, and they found him here in this dusty town in the...
He called it Dusty Town. Y'all hear him?
There, over my left shoulder, you can see FBI presence.
He said they found him in a dusty town.
He actually went to the same school as Robertson.
They
caught him a scumbag in this dusty town.
Just in the last few minutes, we've seen some activity. I'm going to step out of the way so you can see it. At this point, there's big black.
So the question is, what led this man to allegedly murder the conservative influence of Charlie Kirk, already destroyed the case?
So this is obviously a place of interest, and Robinson is where this all began last night, and now more activity.
He said in this dusty town. In this dusty little old town. Oh my goodness.
Now, we didn't see any indication of previous criminal records on Robinson in the support system. Social media posts by family members also indicate Robinson was highly intelligent. They said he had a bright future ahead of him. Now, the
dusty, musty little old town. Who he think he is? He him or nobody. Woo!
In a news release, this Robinson is the third year in the electrical apprenticeship program. We actually spoke to someone who's a classmate of his at Dixon House. Shocked to know this is someone who...
There's been so much focus on the suspect's political leanings. I can say to you this morning that Robertson was not registered to any one political party. Sorry.
Yeah, at this point, take a look at these photos. Robinson is in these photos. This came in from a viewer from the High School yearbook, where you can see Robinson's picture in those yearbook photos. Many individuals.
They don't went got the yearbook and everything.
Or on camera have all said that their interactions with Robinson, he was very quiet, he kept to himself, he was very reserved. Many of them say he seemed very intelligent, but also noting that they never heard him speak about politics or talk about politics. And back in 1985, the FBI lights up, not sure a lot of FBI jackets, polos out here. So we're going to try and figure out exactly what's going on. This all happening for the last couple of minutes. We'll be back in half an hour. We're going to talk to a viewer who says that Robinson actually used to mow his lawn here.
I play too much.
Stay out here live. We'll be back in about half an hour. Now, live in Washington. Spencer, response to Team News.
Happy Pink with his mustache. Oh, y'all. Trust my face. Dark. I'm sorry, I went dark. Oh no. The phone fell over, Lord. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I had to step away and the phone fell over. I am so sorry. Okay, hold on. While it's doing that, let me come over here. Hold on, y'all, because I was on
right now when you
inside this. Hold on. I gotta go to Memphis. Hold on. While I'm over here. I thought I was listening to her boy. I thought I was already here.
People are accepting of the multiculturalism. Back in rape.
I think of like taking the Lord's name in vain, where it's like these people.
I'm not trying to do that. I'm not. I mean, maybe I should, but
Now saying that he's a deity, or, thank you to our sponsor.
Shout out to John
His
Lemon.
parents reportedly are Republicans. He is reportedly doesn't really identify with any particular ideology or political group, political party. And so he is a suspect in all of this. Still no confirmed motive, except that the officials think that he may have not liked Charlie Kirk for his political beliefs, but none of that has been proven. In the meantime,
right, it hasn't been proven.
The President of the United States, the Vice President of the United States, Republican officials, Republican influences, Republican media, right-wing media, all trying to make Charlie Kirk into the second coming.
Right.
Now, no one thinks Charlie Kirk should have died, should
right.
have gotten shot, but when you hear and listen to the things that Charlie Kirk has said,
right. Let's
it is
go.
Outrageous.
Very outrageous.
I'm going to bring in DL Hughley
egregious
right now.
Shout out to DL Hughley.
DL, you have been, I think, the clearest voice. Thank you, sir, for joining us. I think you've been the clearest voice on this because you're speaking truth to power without, condoning violence. You're speaking to the hypocrisy that's happening on the right now.
Absolutely.
That always is a strange euphemism to me, condoning. The act already happened. America has
Okay, y'all, please get the likes up for me. Come in hitting the like button. At this point, this is my second time going live today for hours. I have not even had dinner. Okay, trying to bring this to especially some of the tea sippers who are far, far away. I appreciate you. And I would appreciate if you would just double tap the screen. If you're on your phone listening in, and if you're on a computer or tablet, just hit the 3 dots at the top in the chat, and it'll take you to a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up, and I would greatly appreciate it. Let's listen. Shout out to Don Lemon.
Definition decided that it would condone. But even Charlie Kirk, by his own words, said that a certain amount of deaths were acceptable. So the word is kind of weird and a misnomer.
Thank you, plus a size baddie.
Condone what already happened.
Thank you.
This is America's choice. They have decided that these
and a
deaths,
super chat, a super sticker, a cash app will work too.
Synagogues or at grocery
we
stores
have
or
to
at
just.
We even have different classifications.
We have
of
to
the way
just
we're shot.
judging with the person.
More Americans have died at the hands of Americans than have died in every single war we've ever fucking been. So ISIS ain't got a damn thing on us. So, but to say to anybody whether they condone what already happened is a bit of a misnomer when America, by definition, has already done the same thing.
So when I say that they're trying to make him into the second coming, or somehow saying that he's a deity, or I get that he's
like
a
the Bible
martyr,
said, it's
now.
not what's
But
in a man.
This is Glenn Beck. Now we all
defile
know
him, but what comes
what Charlie
out of
Kirk
him.
has said.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is there's actually less about
I think a lot of people pretend like they don't know. That's the thing. A lot of people pretend like they don't know. My manager, who's I've been my manager 30 years, he wasn't aware of all the things he said. And I think there are a lot of people who just kind of are tuned in to a certain frequency and they get to cherry pick things. But if you're one of those groups that have been marginalized, one of those groups that he's spoken out against, I think you're keenly aware of what he said. I think there's some people who get to not know.
So what the point is that if this has happened to Charlie Kirk, and
turn a blind eye and play dumb.
This is awful. No one should be, a victim of political violence. It's not acceptable. Democrats are saying that. Republicans are saying that. But if they weren't trying to rewrite history, the history of Charlie Kirk in this moment, the president ordering flags to be flown at half-staff, the members of Congress petitioning for Charlie Kirk to have a state-like funeral. Now, I can't think of the Charlie Kirk, if there even is one on the left.
It has to be more than one.
If someone that they deemed, even if it was true or not, to be a racist or a bigot or didn't like Republicans or anti-right-wing, I wonder what outrage and the level, the volume of the outrage would be on the right. Let me play this from Glenn Beck, and I want you to respond to it, TL. Here's Glenn Beck. He's a civil rights leader, he's saying.
We must stop calling Charlie anything other than a civil rights leader. We need to plant that stake deep. It is time that we point out what he was doing was not politics. What he was doing was trying to stand up for people's civil rights, to show people how a civilization is not a civilization unless you can have a dialogue with people who are diametrically opposed to you, that don't believe anything that you believe in. And yet you can have a civil dialogue, and how important that is. That's our civil right, our right to free speech. And that gunman was trying to take that right away from him and from you and everyone else. Shut up. You will be silenced. You will not say those things. And there has been a force in this country to try to convince people that you don't have a right, that you have a responsibility to silence others. You don't. In this country, one of our main civil rights is we can express ourselves the way we feel we need to express ourselves. And I'm sorry, if you don't like it, you have to just take it and then say, I'd like to have a discussion with you on that. I'd like to know how you got there. I'd like to have the opportunity to argue.
Y'all see how they play in our face?
You have that right to argue against it.
Okay, listen. There's nothing going back. He's not even he's missing the point here.
So you.
You can say whatever you want, but go on.
It's deliberate. That's ironic and very rich right now. People are being fired from their jobs because they're saying what Charlie Kirk actually said.
They losing their jobs.
Are threatened to be pulled off planes because they said something about the FBI.
Do not say anything.
People are being kicked out of the country because they said something about Trump. So let's stop with the whole free. There's a difference between free speech and hate speech. There's a difference between free speech and
I'm cleaning and listening. Hopefully we have a mature audience tonight.
I don't care about his ideological views. I care that his ideological views is that he deliberately said that there are a certain amount of things that should happen that are bad. When your conversations stop with my humanity, then it's not a conversation at all. But I find it interesting that one of the ways to get deified on the right is to do horrible things to black people. Like
let's go.
Generals, they're getting statues. Glenn Beck got an award. They're talking about Charlie Kirk lying in state, and he should lie in state because he lied in a bunch of states.
Yeah, he lied in a bunch of states.
Generally, what is the allure with the people who have said the most racist and incendiary things on the right that they got to be deified? What's the purpose of deifying Confederate generals? Like, whenever I see a white guy encased in bronze on a statue, whenever I see a white dude on a horse in the middle of a park in bronze, I know he hated black people. Like the last guy that got a bronze statue that didn't hate black people was Rocky, and even he beat the shit out of Apollo Creed. So there is decidedly a way that we see the world where name me a person that they deified that was about or that they lionized that didn't have a checkered, sordid, acrimonious past when it came to certain members of our society. Name me one. Just one. I don't care if you tell me the Confederate generals that they reinstated. I don't care if you tell me it was Rush Limbaugh. I don't care if put the things on under his monument that he's actually said that you think illuminate. And then put the things that he's actually said that can kind of make things darker. And there'll be no reason to have him. He wouldn't even lower the flag for the Pope. He wouldn't attend John McCain's funeral. But this is who you choose to lionize?
But DL, you're making a point, because people will say, well, why are you talking this way about Charlie Kirk? At the end of the day, this is not really about Charlie Kirk. It is and it isn't. It's really about the response and the hypocrisy on the Republican side, and pointing out that just how devious their antics are and what they're doing. Donald Trump, in my opinion, doesn't give a shit about Charlie Kirk. Donald Trump cares about himself. And proof, just let me give you a proof. This is Donald Trump asked about Charlie Kirk. Now I want you to just listen closely to his response today.
Oh, wow. Oh, he's so slow. Oh, my God, I can't.
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks. They just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House.
He don't want to construction.
We've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years.
He's talking about construction. It's going to be a beauty. He don't care nothing about that young man. He sacrificed him. I told you.
Very nicely, and it'll be
hi, Ayana.
best anywhere in the world, actually.
He don't care nothing about him.
Asked about Charlie Kirk.
And he went and talking about remodeling.
Fucking ballroom that he's building that no one wants except for him.
Oh my
I
God.
think that Donald Trump is, in my belief, and this is my estimation, is like most white men in America.
Oh, wow.
I think it is the exception that is different than him. I think he is morally bankrupt. I think that he is transactional. I think if you told me I was like Obama, I would be flattered. But people will pretend to be insulted by a man that they champion. We always have these. I think it's hard for him and a lot of people like him to even fake empathy. They have to fake caring.
Lord, did we not have a time today about empathy, y'all? Empathy is a issue. It is a problem, and we got to get there, y'all. We really got to get there, because the lack thereof, it's an issue.
White men in America. I think it is.
He started the conversation with construction trucks.
I think he is morally bankrupt. I think that he is transactional. I think if you told me I was like Obama, I would be flattered. But people will pretend to be insulted by a man that they champion. We always have these. I think it's hard for him.
Empathy is an issue. Acknowledging another person's feelings and understanding.
Yeah. They have to fake caring. They have to be told what to do. Because being humane and being empathic doesn't come organically to them. And I think he's more like, there are more people that are like him, more white guys that are like him than
wow.
Because if they weren't, they wouldn't tolerate the things that he does. You don't call, he was quicker to send people to hurt Los Angeles who didn't vote for him than to help Texas who did. He's quicker to do things to hurt people that didn't support him than help those who did. And that is the kind of moral bankruptcy that I think is in a lot of people who are powerful people. I think that's why they're okay with this trafficking stuff. Proposition, because it always required people to look past themselves, and we run out of men like that. I think now people are transactional. Now people are tribal, and there are things that are happening. And that man, to me, epitomizes all that America is. I think you'd be hard pressed to find people that are not like him. That's my opinion. You couldn't. How do you give Rush Limbaugh the Medal of Freedom? How are you contemplating giving Charlie Kirk? Like, what did he do that was so noteworthy? What is the speech he gave? What is he's not a poet. He didn't invent a vaccine. He wasn't a great general. What did he do? Like, name me the thing that he did that drew people together. But that is the approximation. They can't even, they're so devoid of actually having experience where they struggle. They have to approximate other struggle. They have to conflate him with Dr. Martin Luther King. They have to conflate him with Rosa Parks, or people with Rosa Parks, because they're so devoid of struggle. And I think he is the epitome of what this country is. And I think there are more people that are like him that are not. And I think that's why we're in the situation we're in, because we've ran out of people who care more about things that were. If you run on empathy, you run on things. You can't relate to people anymore. So I think that's where we are. We're running on morality. Our morality is on E right now.
But it just points out, I believe, DL, the political divide, not even the political divide, the real life divide here in America between just people and white people, some white people in this country. Because if they understood what it's like, and I should say minorities, or people who are part of the underserved community, people who are part of the communities who are attacked, if they don't understand why the group of Americans, these groups of Americans are sitting here scratching our heads, because I'm one of them wondering, like, wait a minute, why are you treating CHARLIEKIRK like he's a monarch, like he is actually a member of the government, that he is deserving of a state funeral, that he is actually deserving of the honor of having flags lowered to half-staff, that he is deserving of the honor of having the Presidential Medal of Freedom, an honor that's usually for war heroes, of people who have made major sacrifices to the country and fought in times against things that were wrong when it wasn't popular.
What is the thing that he did that we can all agree on, that were illuminating, that made us all cohesive? What is the thing that we get as human beings? What is the thing he has said or done in his life that drew people in and gathered them together? Like, what poem is it? What device is it? What charity is it? What thing has he done? And what he has done is the thing that they all have in common, whether it's Rush Limbaugh or any number of Confederate generals where they name their parks and schools and bases after, or even now him. The thing they have in common, if they have maligned, either verbally maligned or physically hurt people that they believe were inferior. All of them. Name me a guy that he honored that didn't have a racist past. I don't care if we're talking about Hulk Hogan. All of them have that in common. And to me, the thing that I am incensed by, there's a difference between not wanting a young man's life snuffed out and then having that life be an example for others. Would you want your kids to grow up to be like him? Either one of them. You could tell me how much, and we always have these conversations. Would you leave your daughter in a room with Donald Trump?
Oh, hell no.
Would you leave your children?
Would y'all leave your room, your daughter in the room with him?
Does he? Everything he is, everything he says, everything he does.
He tried waking America up. Okay, would you leave?
We were told not to be.
Would you leave your daughter with him easy?
Everything he does, the way he comports himself, the things he believes, the things.
Would you leave your child with him easy?
Like all today, he talked about only the people who were on the right. He's not the president of the United States, clearly.
Would you let your daughter spend a weekend at his house with Epstein?
And how tribal and myopic this man is. How is it in this politically charged
Slow Bunny,
people are being killed? There've been 2 assassination attempts on your life. You take Secret Service protection away from your political rival. Knowing what could happen. You do that on purpose. What human being would do that?
Right.
And I tell you what human being. A lot of white dudes feel just like him. And that's why he's allowed to do it. Because if you didn't feel, there are certain things that you could do I would never go along with, and you could lose my support, and I would be vocal about it. What has he ever done? It's like this whole Epstein thing. Either he is a child molester or is a betting son. There's no really ambiguity about it. Either he is a child, either he's a pedophile, or is an accomplice, or is abetting them, or obscuring for them, or covering for them. So how is it that you can tell us that you are the moral leaders of our country, that you're even all the things that he says and does, you couldn't get hired at the White Castle, let alone be the White House. And I think he's indicative of who this country actually is.
D.L. Hughley.
Say that, hold on, say that again.
And what he has done is
shout out to D.L. Hughley.
Whether it's Rush Limbaugh or any number of Confederate generals where they name their parks and schools and bases after, or even now him. The thing they have in common, if they have maligned, either verbally maligned or physically hurt people that they believe were inferior. All of them. Name me name me a guy that he honored that didn't have a racist past. I don't care if we're talking about Hulk Hogan. All of them have that in common. And to me,
Orange guy recently grumbled about holidays.
There's a difference between
Kirk
not wanting a
spelled
young man's life snuffed
MLK.
out and then having that life
I would
be an
not be
example for
surprised
others.
if the orange
Would you
guy
want your kids to grow up to be like him?
execute orders.
Either one of them. You could tell me how much.
A federal
and we
Kirk.
already had
Oh
these
my
conversations.
God. Oh.
Would you leave your daughter in a room with Donald Trump? Would you leave your children? Do you want your children to be like him? Does he, everything he
Hell
is,
to the
everything
no,
he says,
no,
everything he
no.
does, we were told as children not
Hell
to
to the no.
we were told
To
not
the
to be.
no, no,
Everything
no.
everything he does, the way he comports himself,
Hell
the
to
things
the
he believes,
no.
the things he espouses, the things he said, like all today.
Y'all remember Color Purple? When Miss Millie asked her, "Do you want to be my maid?" She said, "What? You want to be my maid?" Hell no. What you say? Hell no. Oh shit.
Maligned, either verbally maligned or physically hurt people that they
These people are crazy.
Name me a guy that he honored that didn't have a racist past. I don't care if we're talking about Hulk Hogan. All of them have that in common. And to me, the thing that I am incensed by, there's a difference between not wanting a young man's life snuffed out and then having that life be an example for others. Would you want your kids to grow up to be like him? Either one of them. You could tell me how much, and we always have these conversations. Would you leave your daughter in a room with Donald Trump?
Shit,
would you leave your children? Do you want your children to be like him?
Hell, I wouldn't even want to leave my puppy. No dog.
Everything he is, everything he says.
Of course not. Remember, he wanted to sleep with his own daughter, God forbid. Yep, and he thought Paris Hilton was beautiful, breathtaking at 12.
The things he said, like all today, he talked about only the people who were on the right. He's not the president of the United States, clearly. He's the president of the United States. In this climate, this tells you how petty and how tribal and myopic this man is. How is it in this politically charged climate, when you know people are being killed, there have been 2 assassination attempts on your life, you take Secret Service protection away from your political rival, knowing what could happen? You do that on purpose. Mm-hmm. Human being would do that. And I tell you what human being, a lot of white dudes feel just like him. And that's why he's allowed to do it. Because if you didn't feel, there are certain things that you could do I would never go along with, and you could lose my support, and I would be vocal about it. What has he ever done? It's like this whole Epstein thing. Either he is a child molester or is a betting son. There's no really ambiguity about either he is a child, either he's a pedophile or is an accomplice or is abetting them or obscuring for them or covering for them.
Absolutely.
So how is it that you can tell us that you are the moral leaders of our country, that you're even all the things that he says and does, you couldn't get hired at White Castle, let alone be the White House? And I think he's indicative of who this country actually is.
So it's horrible when we do it, but it's acceptable when they do it.
Take care.
Thank you. There's DL, and DL's point of view is always welcome here, and he always speaks.
Shout out to Lou Richard
to talk to us about some new developments in this case, and he is a friend of my former show on the traditional, old school, lamestream media, as they call it. Wajahan Ali is the host of Democracy-ish podcast and the author of the Left Hook Substack. Wajahan, good evening, my brother. Thanks for
Don, remember back in the day, you and I have some gray hairs when Friday was a slow news day in September and we could already plan our weekends. But not in 2025, when we have a corrupt, corpulent, vulgarian, white supremacist president who doesn't even care about the violence that he has unleashed in this country, the hate he has fostered. And look what is happening to young men in this country, specifically young white men. And one thing before we start, we just found out that the identity of the shooting that happened in Denver, because it wasn't just one shooting in the murder of Charlie Kirk. Also, we found out that the shooter is a young white boy who was radicalized online, and wait for it, was not trans, was not immigrant.
It wasn't a transgender woman or man, or
no, that was misinformation.
Promoting white supremacist anti-Semitic messages.
Interesting. Now, wait a minute. Now, remember when they thought, like, the Muslim guys were, they were the purveyors or perpetrators of terrorism, that they wanted to have a Muslim ban from the country. And then the FBI director, Christopher Wray, came out and said, wait, well, no, most domestic terror, our biggest terror threat in this country is domestic terrorism, and that is carried out by white men radicalized to the right. And so
the number one domestic terror threat in America is right-wing terrorism tied to white supremacy. It's the GOAT. No one comes close. When it comes to the overwhelming identity of mass shooters in this country, it is white men. The person who tried to assassinate Donald Trump was a young white man who was radicalized Republican, former Trump voter, who came from a gun-toting family. What we know as of today, as of the suspect, this individual who was arrested, again, we're breaking news, Tyler Robinson, white, not trans, not immigrant, not Muslim, young, white man, 22 years old, gun aficionado from a Maga Republican family, according to his own grandmother, according to the Daily Beast article. His father was a former sheriff. They all into guns, MAGA, Trump, Second Amendment. So not left, not immigrant, not Muslims, not trans. And I wonder if there's going to be a ban on young white men.
I don't know if you remember when I asked that, and the right, they went off. They're like, they wanted my head. You are racist. I can't believe it. I'm like, well, I'm only saying the truth and what the actual stats show. But let's talk about some of the things. And I watched you today, and you did a very good explanation of this. So if you look at his social media
that's him and his pop.
He had at least some association or affinity or fascination or interest in this Groyper group. And that is a racist group, isn't it? And which would lead you to believe that he's actually not a leftist, but go on, you explain.
So all this information is still coming out, folks, and we just look at the evidence of our eyes and we're connecting the dots. I want to remind everyone that Nick Fuentes, 2.5 years ago, the leader of the Groyper movement, a man who said Hitler was based, an America First Christian nationalist,
wow,
who's against immigrants, against people of color, who wants America to be a white Christian nation, who promotes anti-Semitic conspiracies, who thinks
why is it always against
Kirk
black
was not
people?
Pro-white enough and right-wing enough. A man, Nick Fuentes, who leads.
If y'all don't understand that the Making America Great Again does not include black people. So for all the black people who are out here thinking that they are included, that mistakenly think that they are included in this process, you're not. Making America Great Again, the only process that they are thinking about you, in my opinion, is to remove you. Come on, people, wake up. It is to remove you and move you to some foreign country to be mishandled. That is making America great again. This process of elimination. This population
We'll talk about
control.
in a second. Who came into fame in the right wing because he used to troll CHARLIEKIRK and the Turning Point USA. Because, folks, all this information is still coming out, folks, and we just look at the evidence of our eyes and we're connecting the dots.
Heavy
I
money.
want to remind everyone that Nick Fuentes, 2.5 years ago, the leader of the Groyper movement, a man who said Hitler was based, an America First Christian nationalist who's against immigrants, against people of color, who wants America to be a white Christian nation, who promotes anti-Semitic conspiracies, who thinks that Charlie Kirk was not pro-white enough and right-wing enough. A man, Nick Fuentes, who leads the Groypers, which we'll talk about in a second, came into fame in the right wing because he used to troll Charlie Kirk and the Turning Point USA. Because, folks, Turning Point USA and Charlie Kirk were not right enough for him. That Nick Fuentes. Yesterday, Don, because I'm a masochist who's been following this for a while, Nick Fuentes, when he went on his stream, do you know how many people were on his stream channel yesterday watching him?
I'm sure there were hundreds of thousands.
200,000. That Nick Fuentes, 2.5 years ago, dined with Donald Trump. Donald Trump dined with Nick Fuentes and post-anti-Semitic Kanye West. Donald Trump said, I had no idea who he was. After they told him this man is a racist, nativist, bigot, anti-LGBTQ, extremist, who is further to the right than Charlie Kirk, who used to troll Charlie Kirk, who used to call Charlie Kirk a fascist, who used to troll Ben Shapiro. Why did you dine with Nick Fuentes? Will you condemn him? It's been 2.5 years, Don. And I hope any reporter who's watching, ask Donald Trump, do you finally condemn Nick Fuentes, the leader of the Groyper army, whom you dined with 2.5 years ago? Groypers, folks, is the name of this movement of these nativist, racist, neo-Nazi white nationalists who are further to the right of Charlie Kirk, who have exploded online in the past several years. Their avatar is Pepe the Frog. You know that frog who sits like this? By the way, the shooter, Tyler Robinson, the suspect, what was his Halloween costume a few years ago? Pepe the Frog, right? Thank you, you got it. The engravings, the memes that everyone's talking about that are on the bullets, people are like, what is he talking about? That language, if you're reading this, you're gay, LMAO, notices bulges, right? Oh, Bella Ciao.
Explain to them what noticing bulges is. That is anti-trans.
Noticing bulges, OWO, what's this, is a phrase in the gamer community, but recently it has, if you will, been hijacked by the Groyper community for bulges. They're literally noticing bulges, so they call it transvestigating. When it comes to hey fascist catch, and you had that up arrow, right arrow, 3 down arrows, that is a reference to Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 is a video game, and this guy was a huge video gamer, played Helldivers 2. I don't know if you saw this fantastic movie called Starship Troopers, directed by Paul Verhoeven. It was a send-up on fascism, right? It was a send-up on militarism. Helldivers 2 is a game where it's a satire on fascism, where you actually play as the bad guys, but when you do up arrow, right arrow, 3 down arrows,
we're talking about the
so
shooter.
Fascists catch this bomb, right? And the bomb being, of course, this bullet. And then the homophobia,
Tyler,
which is just rampant. If you're reading this, you're gay, LMAO. All over 4chan, all over Groypers. In fact,
thank you,
the
Money.
governor of Utah, if he was reading, remember that he was reading this all out? They were laughing on 4chan because he said the thing. What was the thing? He said, if you're reading this, you're gay, LMAO. Now, a lot of people, Don, are looking at this like, what the hell is all this? This is the subculture, the online culture that has radicalized white men, predominantly, not exclusively, and furthermore, been co-opted by the right wing. QAnon also came from the right-wing swamp, and then Donald Trump and the right wing mainstreamed it, Don, because they realized, oh, it helps us, and it weaponizes these young men against who? Our enemies. Look at this past 3 days. They've weaponized all this rage against the left. Who got radicalized by QAnon? Vance Bolter, the white Trump voter who killed Melissa Hortman. Who got radicalized by QAnon? Ashley Babbitt. Oh, you know,
that was his costume
that they made into a martyr. And folks, what I was
imitating the
is,
frog.
I'll give an analogy real quick. Frankenstein's monster. Republicans nurtured this monster, fed this monster, and wanted to unleash this monster against the left. And I always ask them, what happens if the monster escapes the lab and turns on you? And folks, Nick Fuentes is further to the right of Charlie Kirk. He spent the last 5 years trolling him. They called Charlie Kirk a fascist, a sellout. All of these terminologies that we're seeing right now are consistent with Groyper stuff. The ADL that 5 years ago came out with Groypers, calling them a threat. And I want to remind y'all, 2.5 years ago, Donald Trump, who's currently the president of the United States, dined with Nick Fuentes, the leader of this movement, and post-anti-Semitic Kanye. And to this day, he has not condemned it. Don, sorry for my TED Talk.
No,
Go ahead.
I love that you are here and you're spouting the truth because people don't understand.
Hi, Tracy.
This. They have been, they're portraying him, as I was talking to DL about just moments ago, they are portraying him as some sort of
hero,
or he's a martyr now, but as if he's the second coming. And I don't think, look, if he had died, sadly, and no one is condoning what happened.
No,
But if
not at all.
Try to deify him, I don't think there would be the
but we can't honor him either.
From folks like us and people who are saying it's awful that it happened, but we must know who Charlie Kirk was. And there are a lot of us out here who are wondering why they're trying to give him state funerals and lowering flags at half staff and giving him the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Oh, we know. I really appreciate what DL was saying. And, my wife who's not into this stuff, she had no idea who Charlie Kirk was. So she was telling me, man, is this guy like some humanitarian? He has a bigger send-off than Jimmy Carter. And then she read what he was about and she was horrified.
In no way, form, or fashion of Jesus. Absolutely.
Is an X-ray of America.
They are acting like he is the second coming of Christ.
Sanitize, deify, and valorize in death, Don. You are a black man, I'm a Muslim man. You're a gay man, I'm a child of immigrants. In order for you and me to have statues and monuments named after us, we would have to create statues and monuments. This country named statues and monuments after racist, treasonous losers who lost the Civil War and chose to secede so they could own black people. Look at how they valorized Charlie Kirk. I was watching the Commanders-Eagles game yesterday. Moment of silence for Charlie Kirk.
Can you say that again one more time for the ones in the back?
Into this stuff, she had no idea who Charlie. Condemn the murder and call out
Charlie Kirk. What?
After racist, treasonous losers who lost the Civil War and chose to secede so they could own black people. Look at how they have valorized Charlie Kirk. I was watching the Commanders-Eagles game yesterday. Moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. Before the New York Yankees game, look at the bullshit Ezra Klein piece. My God, look how they fired.
I heard an earful about that today. Oh my gosh.
Look at how they've fired Matthew Dowd for saying the truth. Look at how J.D. Vance skipped the 9/11 memorial and went and traveled with his casket. Charlie, what DL said. This is a man. I'm going to say it. I condemn Charlie Kirk's murder. I think you and me, you've had me on several times. We haven't seen it. I've been very consistent. You can condemn the murder and call out Charlie Kirk's history of radicalizing young people with hate, his history of cruelty, his history of bigotry that he wore as a badge. A man who said that gay people should be stoned. A man who said that black people were better off during slavery. A man who, folks, supported the January 6th insurrection. A man who supported the white nationalist conspiracy, the Great Replacement conspiracy that radicalized people to commit violence. A man who was anti-trans, anti-woman. A man who said that the Civil Rights Act was a mistake. A man who used to sick his army out on researchers and the media. A man who was against gun control, and gun control could have saved his life. And after a mass shooting 2 years ago, said, well, you need to have some of these casualties for our Second Amendment right. Well, those casualties are fine, because as long as the casualties were us, Don, right? Cruelty for you, civility for me. Safe spaces for me, terrorism for you. You can't criticize me, but I can criticize you and mock you. Charlie Kirk was a hateful piece of shit. And he was a man who used his talents to radicalize young people.
Hello, hold on, y'all.
The most marginalized on earth. And it is perfectly fair and fine for the rest of us to not engage in a hagiography or a sanitization, but actually show his hateful rhetoric and how they actually radicalized young anti-black, anti-immigrant,
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to step away.
Anti-black, anti-immigrant,
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to step away.
Woman. What does it say about this country? And what does it say about our powerful institutions?
Hello?
What does it say about Republican Party that has embraced him and made him into a hero in death? You tell me, Don.
Yeah. I don't think I think we get it. That tells you that they're what they want. That tells you that they're racist. It tells you that they don't care about actually being Christian.
Yeah, I have to be right back.
They don't care about religious
Are y'all
freedom.
still here?
Really
Can y'all still hear?
First Amendment. They don't really care about any of the other amendments in the Constitution that grants equal rights to all people. So they don't really care. What they care about is power, and they care about money, and they care about.
Can y'all still hear?
That's it. Wajahat. Thank you, brother.
Please come back.
Thank you, sir. Take care, everyone.
Okay, yeah, I'll be right back. I have to go and meet somebody for some food.
We're joined by some other amazing voices to discuss this. Taylor Lorenz is here. She's a veteran tech journalist and the author of the User Mag on Substack, the User Mag Substack. State Representative Yolanda Jones is here, a Democrat serving Texas's 147th district in the Lone Star State, the House of Representatives. Tim Wise is here. Tim is a senior fellow at the African American Policy Forum, and he speaks out. He is an anti-racist advocate. And then the great Van Lathan.
Okay, y'all, I have to go meet them for
in just moments.
Can y'all stay here and listen?
And we're going to play some of the things that conservatives are saying right now that has me baffled and people scratching their heads. But first, I need 2 minutes for a word from our sponsors. Support comes from Wild Alaskan Company. Now, when was the last time that you truly trusted the seafood that you brought home? I used to question everything: nutrition, taste, sustainability, until I found Wild Alaskan Company. Now, their seafood is 100% wild caught, never farmed, no antibiotics, no GMOs, no additives, just clean, real fish packed with omega-3s, frozen right off the boat to lock in freshness. Now, I personally love their sockeye salmon. I say it all the time. I love all of it, though, right? And it's all rich in flavor. It's got great texture, and I know it supports sustainable fishing practices. And you can try it risk-free. If you're not completely satisfied, they're going to give you a full refund. So get $35 off of your first box of premium wild-caught seafood at wildalaskan.com/lemon. That's wildalaskan.com/lemon. Eat better, support healthy oceans. It's Wild Alaskan. Support comes from Beam. You know, summer's almost over. We're quickly moving into fall, but let's be honest. Life hasn't slowed down. The headlines keep coming, the noise gets louder, and every day someone is trying to distract us, divide us, or just wear us down. It is unrelenting, right? So that's not an accident. Burnout is the goal. If we're exhausted, we're easier to control. But rest is resistance. That's why I use Beam's Dream Powder. It's a natural sleep blend with ingredients like reishi, magnesium L-theanine, and apigenin, and melatonin. It helps us to fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up clear-headed, without the grogginess or the crash. Since I started using it, I have felt sharper, more grounded, ready to show up for the day ahead, and I'm not alone. Beam's Dream Powder has improved over 17.5 million nights of sleep all across the country. So it tastes great, tastes incredible, it's smooth, it's delicious, easy to add to your nightly routine. Right now, Beam is offering up to 40% off of their best-selling Dream Powder. For my listeners, go to shopbeam.com/lemon and use the code LEMON. That's shopbeam.com/lemon for up to 40% off. I want you to sleep well, wake up ready. The fight continues. Sleep well, and thank you so much to our sponsors. So we're joined by, as I said, Wajahat Ali. If you want to stay and you want to talk, we'll continue to have you on. Taylor Lorenz is here as a veteran tech journalist and the author of the User Mag Substack. State Representative Yolanda Jones here, Democrat serving the 147th District of the Lone Star States House of Representatives. And Tim Wise is here, a senior fellow in the African American Policy Forum. And as I said, Van Lathan is going to join us in just moments. So glad that you're all here. Wajahat, are you staying with us? Are you still there?
I just wanted to listen to what Taylor had to say, and Tim and all these other folks. And this is why we need tech journalists like Taylor, a masochist who actually has spent 10 years and can actually explain to you what furries is, groypers is, Helldivers 2 is, which is why this is why we need people like Tim Wise, who have spent their career talking about what I think is the enduring sin of America, white supremacy. And this is why we need elected officials who have come on or willing to call a thing for what it is. I wish I could stay. I got a guest host for Mary Trump. I just wanted to give a shout out to those people. I did not get paid for that endorsement.
All right, Taylor is speechless. All right, thank you. Thank you, Wajahat. We appreciate it. So let's start off with this. I'm going to start off with giving you guys something to react to. By the way, welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining us. Don Jr. is saying this about, he's talking about cable news, but perhaps he's talking about folks like us as well, who are just telling the truth. And again, I don't think we'd even be here if they weren't trying to deify Charlie Kirk. I don't like that he died. I don't like what happened to him. I don't believe in political violence. I think it's the worst thing. You don't want to fight against. You don't want to become what you fight against. But this is Don Jr. saying that Democrats
need to be kicked off the airwaves. Here it is.
They realize they lost the debate entirely, so they have to resort to violence. And contrary to what we're seeing elsewhere and online, it is not going both ways. It is going one way. It's coming from those aligned with the Democrat Party. The hate has been fomented by those in the Democrat Party, and you can probably play hundreds of hours of those clips. It's coming from the media. Some of them are doing a quick course correction and probably scrub their social media feeds for all the things I've said about Charlie, myself, my father over the last few years. But you can't call someone who you disagree with or simply can't win an argument with a Nazi, a fascist, a dictator, a greatest threat to democracy in the history of civilization, and then pretend you had nothing to do with it when the more radical wing, and there does not seem to be all that much difference to me these days, takes up arms and tries to kill those they disagree with. It's not one way. It's not both ways. It is simply one way. And anyone who's saying otherwise, should be thrown off the air.
Okay, so I would like to introduce Don Jr. To this person who is named Don Sr. and who happens to be his father and the president of the United States. You heard exactly what he said. And so Don Jr., here's Don Sr.
The divide in American politics today is between these far-left fascists led by Harris and her group. We have a fascist person running who's incompetent. She's a Marxist, communist, fascist, socialist. She's not actually a socialist. She's gone past that. Somebody's got to explain this to them. There's a radical left Marxist, communist, fascist.
Tim Wise, take it away, sir.
Well, I mean,
where do you start, right?
It gets worse than that. I mean, he's called people vermin. He says immigrants poison the blood of the country. He calls the press the enemy of the people. And then when we point out that that's literally phraseology Hitler used, we're the problem rather than the guy who said it. It's fascinating to me. We know from every single study that has been done, whether it's done by government agency or whether it's done by a private organization, that the overwhelming majority of political violence over the last 10 to 15 to 20 years has come from the right, not from the left. And you know from looking at the research that the rhetoric is also that way. And I will tell Don Jr. also, he might want to call Harmeet Dillon, who is the head of the Civil Rights Division at the DOJ, who right now, because it was put in her lap by the previous administration and it would have looked bad for her to drop the case, is currently prosecuting white supremacist neo-Nazis in the Telegram Collective who solicited my murder. I was actually one of the targeted victims in the case. So don't tell me that all of the political violence is coming from the left when your own Justice Department is still prosecuting right now 3 individuals who had solicited not only my murder of the former mayor of Chicago and several sitting officials, including federal judges. And that case is happening right now. There are 2 people awaiting trial. One is taking a plea, awaiting sentencing. So we know full well where violence has come from. One of the things that shook me up so much about the murder of Charlie Kirk, which, like you said earlier, we obviously all condemn. It was horrifying because I have been on the road speaking on campuses just like Charlie does or did.
Hold on.
More grounded.
I
ready
missed
to
it.
show up for the day ahead. And
it is not going both ways. It is going one way. It's coming from those aligned with the Democrat Party. The hate has been fomented by those in the Democrat Party, and you can probably play hundreds of hours of those clips.
Yeah,
it's
I'm
coming
so
from
hungry.
the media. Some of them are doing a quick course correction and probably scrub their social media feeds for all the things I've said about Charlie, myself, my father over the last few years.
Hey,
But you
James.
can't call someone who you disagree with or simply can't win an argument with a Nazi, a fascist, a dictator, a greatest threat to democracy in the history of civilization, and then pretend you had nothing to do with it when the more radical wing, and there does not seem to be all that much difference to me these days, takes up arms and tries to kill those they disagree with. It's not one way. It's not both ways. It is simply one way. And anyone who's saying otherwise,
where your daddy being a criminal. So let me ask y'all. So is his daddy being a convicted felon? Is it one way? Is a convicted felon a convicted felon and should have the limitations that every other convicted felon have, or it's different? It is more than one way. Oh, that's not what they mean. Oh, well, that's not the same thing. Well, yeah, but no. Oh, shut up.
Okay, so I would like to introduce Don Jr. To this person who is named Don Sr. and who happens to be his father and the President of the United States. You heard exactly what he said. And so, Don Jr., here's Don Sr.
The divide in American politics today is between these far-left fascists led by Harris and her group. We have a fascist person running who's incompetent. She's a Marxist, communist, fascist, socialist. She's not actually a socialist. She's gone past that. Somebody's got to explain this. There's a radical left Marxist, communist, fascist.
Tim Wise, take it away, sir.
Well, I mean,
where
look,
do you start, right?
It gets worse than that. I mean, he's called people vermin. He says immigrants poison the blood of the country. He calls the press the enemy of the people. And then when we point out that that's literally phraseology Hitler used, we're the problem rather than the guy who said it. It's fascinating to me. We know from every single study that has been done, whether it's done by government agency or whether it's done by a private organization, that the overwhelming majority of political violence over the last 10 to 15 to 20 years has come from the right, not from the left. And you know from looking at the research that the rhetoric is also that way. And I will tell Don Jr. also, he might want to call Harmeet Dillon, who is the head of the Civil Rights Division at the DOJ, who right now, because it was put in her lap by the previous administration and it would have looked bad for her to drop the case, is currently prosecuting white supremacist neo-Nazis in the Telegram collective who solicited my murder. I was actually one of the targeted victims in the case. So don't tell me that all of the political violence is coming from the left when your own Justice Department is still prosecuting right now 3 individuals who had solicited not only my murder, but the murder of the former mayor of Chicago and several sitting officials, including federal judges. And that case is happening right now. There are 2 people awaiting trial. One is taking a plea, awaiting sentencing. So we know full well where the violence has come from. One of the things that shook me up so much about the murder of Charlie Kirk, which, like you said earlier, we obviously all condemn, it was horrifying because I have been on the road speaking on campuses just like Charlie does or did for 30 years, knowing that every time I went, that could happen to me because I get death threats regularly. My children's pictures were put online. We were doxxed. Our phones were called, and that went on for years. And so I think
we don't condone violence or doxing.
Donald Trump stops calling people vermin, until he stops referring to everyone on the left as some Marxist or communist who's going to destroy the country. And Charlie Kirk himself used to say this kind of thing. He actually said, and I just published a piece earlier today, that where I quoted him directly talking about how the people on the left, and he was just talking about Democrats. He wasn't even really referring to the left. He said that we want to destroy small town, rural white people the way that Stalin destroyed the kulaks. That we actually literally want to destroy them, their children, their children's children. When you put that kind of poison out into the world,
that's that making America great again stuff.
You thought you might have had in a terrible moment like this.
Your op-ed, you sent it to me earlier. What was the name of it again?
It is called "Calls for Toning Down the Rhetoric Are Incredibly One-Sided." Yeah. It's on Medium as of about 4 hours ago. And all I wanted to do in there was just point out the absurdity of saying that we're the ones who need to tone down the rhetoric, when clearly the overwhelming majority of hateful rhetoric, violent rhetoric, bigoted rhetoric, politically charged rhetoric is coming from the other side, and actually even cited.
And they don't want us to have an opinion about the treatment. Isn't that crazy? Just take it.
And people on the left,
take that.
The ones who disproportionately use hateful and bigoted and violent rhetoric. The only thing that those of us on the left do more often is we curse. Fuck yeah, we do. But that's about it. Like that's what we do. But if you think that F-bombs are the equivalent of the Great Replacement Theory, then you're on the bad meth. That's all I know.
Yeah, Jolanda Jones noticed nothing about some F-bombs. I'm joking because I talk to her all the time and she's a big F-bomber. So is Van Lathan, who's going to join us in just moments. the great Van Lathan, the Higher Learning podcast.
Oh,
We can bring him
Van.
in when he's ready. And then Taylor Lorenz. Taylor, what's up with this hypocrisy? I mean, I just played Don Jr.
From
and the former
TMZ?
president. He's calling out liberals, but not condemning his father for the same behavior. But this overall sense of what's happening with Charlie Kirk and the
It's
Groypers and all
hypocrisy.
that,
It's
please,
maddening.
Yeah, I mean, to me, what was so horrifying was actually the last thing that he said, which is that, like, you know, we need to remove them from the airwaves, because I think we're already seeing them manufacture consent for mass censorship. We know that they're currently trying to pass these horrible, horrible censorship and surveillance laws, remove anonymity from the internet. You know, they've given ICE unprecedented power to spy on American civilians. And we're seeing this crackdown in authoritarianism online. And this is something that the Democrats as well have helped facilitate. And so I think, especially in light of, you know, everything that's coming out, I think that we just want to make sure that we fight with everything we have to protect our civil liberties, especially online, and protect online speech and freedom, you know, of expression online, because they will try to use this event as an excuse to jam through some of these really scary laws, or try to do things like overturn Section 230, which would be devastating for so many marginalized groups on the internet.
Representative Jones, can you please help us to understand how it feels to be, you know, someone who's in your skin and in your particular body and who you are, hearing the calls for someone like Charlie Kirk to get the Presidential Medal of Freedom?
So first of all, I think it's absolutely offensive and disrespectful to who I am and who I represent. I am the first Black, openly LGBT person in the Texas legislature. And I don't know how tall Charlie Kirk is, but I bet you I had more muscles than him. And, you know, he just talked down about us. And so when I hear people comparing him to a deity, I think, no, he's a devil. I hate that he got killed. But in very many ways, I think he, you know how they say you reap what you sow?
Oh,
I think
God.
that he planted the seeds for people to think that it was okay to do whatever they wanted because they didn't agree with him, whoever it was, and they thought it was okay to kill him. And because people like him and Donald Trump and others on the right are literally saying you can kill people, wipe them off, get rid of them, they shouldn't be here. So when you talk about people as if they're not human, and when you decide that you're going to be God and you're going to act like God, don't be surprised when someone comes to act like God with you. And the crazy thing, I'm not gonna lie, I was so thankful that it wasn't a Black person doing it.
Right, and I agree.
We're not all into the Second Amendment like that. We don't sharpshoot like that for the most part. And it was somebody from Utah. And so I think he presumed a lot of things, and it came back to bite him. I feel badly for his wife. I feel badly for his children. But at the end of the day, when you live by the sword, sometimes you die by the sword. And he literally didn't believe in empathy. So anybody who's demanding
there we go,
empathetic with him didn't pay attention to him. So the people who listen to him should understand, because empathy is what do they call it? A made up thing now from the left. And state funerals.
I told y'all there was an issue.
That have mass accompanying caskets are for like military heroes and dignitaries. He's neither. He's a racist white kid who figured out if he said enough racist, anti-everything stuff,
Trump would love you.
A bunch of money, and the more hateful his speech was, the more money he made, and the more important he was. And so I don't feel sorry for him. I wish, again, I'm not going to say again, I wish it didn't happen. But at the end of the day, people need to sit back. They need to look at where we are as a country, and they need to understand there's nowhere for us to go but down when you don't respect people. So, and insofar as Donald Trump Jr., since when is a rich white man allowed to whine? I mean, dude, it's not even like you've had any discrimination. You got a whole criminal family. You have a father who's like, he's not even mediocre. Even his mom said it was the dumbest kid she had, right? But literally what he did was he figured out something that's crazy about TV and the media is people want to see disasters. If you look at the TV that's popular, it's where like Honey Boo Boo or people's lives are better than yours, so people want to see that. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna watch this messed up shit. You know why? Because it's worse than my life, and this makes me feel better about myself. But when you create a whole reality show in politics, when you create a whole reality show on the internet, why do you expect for your life not to perhaps end up like a reality show? And that's exactly what it is. So, Charlie Kirk, you started something and people listened to you and they did exactly to you what you prescribed for other people. And so I think that everybody, especially the right, needs to stand back and look at where we are, because we know what has happened in
Donald
other
Trump
countries.
sacrificed him with that hate.
Right-wing people. And Donald Trump militarizing the cities, using the military against us as U.S. citizens. And he's talking to immigrants who came from socialist countries or communist countries when he talks about what's going on in the military, with people, with black people, with gay people, with women. He talks about that, and the people that come from Cuba, they don't want communism. So he talks about us as if we're communists. We're trying to make
Hi, Robert Wingate. You Americans
where they didn't think things
never were taught. How do you know what we were taught, Robert?
He's brilliant, quite frankly. Trump and Kirk, they're
Oh, y'all killed me speaking for everybody. How do you know what we were taught?
But you know what else fear does? Fear scares the shit out of some people, and it makes those.
Y'all, let's hear this. Mr. Wingate, how do you know what we were taught? Are you an American? So you're making an assumption. You know what they say about people who make assumptions? Slow bunny. Slow bunny. You know what they say about people who make assumptions? Do you know slow bunny? You know what a slow bunny is? Y'all say bye to Robert. You cannot come over here and insult anybody in this country. Okay? So you stand in a country where you're not free? And you're mad at us because we are? Huh, slow bunny? Bye, slow bunny. Bye. You can't even spell. Take your ass to school.
People want
AIS.
So I think that people need to be careful, and it seems like the guy who killed him was a doomsday prepper. Let's not even talk about them, right? About doomsday preppers. So we need to sit back, and I'm actually concerned. I have the police. I've made complaints because I need to be protected because I'm progressive, right? I literally was hunted by the FBI, the Texas Rangers, when our quorum broke. And all I did was follow the directives of my constituents. And now they've gone and passed some dumb laws in Texas because some people gave them a quorum that literally says that we are punished if we listen to our own constituents who say, do this, Rep Jones, or do this, Rep whoever, and they're going to penalize us. So it doesn't make any sense. This is a crazy world we live in. If I weren't living it myself, I literally wouldn't believe it. But I bet you what, America better get a handle of itself, because this is a dangerous, dangerous, dangerous place we live in.
I want to bring in now Ben. I'm always interested to hear, and I love it that you're the last one because I love your analysis and you've heard what everyone
Let's go,
has to say.
Ben.
I'm not sure if you heard what Tim Wise had to say, but we'll get more from Tim. What say you, my friend? And thank you for joining.
No problem. It's interesting. I think that there's a way to bifurcate sort of the things that are going on. Some of them are deeply political. They just have to do with politics. I think this is a problem that we have right now. An inability to separate, because we're not allowed to separate what is political from what is humanist and in the interests of people. The reason why I am on the left is because I believe in nonviolence, the breaking of hierarchy, providing people with their basic rights and things that they need to live their lives in the fullest way possible. Everything that comes from the right now is trying to suffocate that. Everything that comes from the right is telling you that you have to drink dirty water. It's telling you that you have to live in a certain place. You have to exist in a certain way. Certain rights that you have within your body, if you are a woman, they're not your rights. The state gets to decide all that stuff, right? It's like choking your freedom off. It's subtracting from you as a human being. It's taken away from you. So when we try to talk to people as humans, as other people that we're sharing our society and our community with, well, we go, wait, there's some non-negotiables that we have to establish before we start having those conversations. Our non-negotiables as human beings are their politics. So when those things are crossed up, we can't really have a conversation as just two people, because before I have a conversation with you as a person, you have to recognize that I'm a person. And so until we tamp back some of that rhetoric and really have a full-throated and real conversation about what God-given human rights that people have and how they can express themselves, we're going to be at this place right now of this really incredible and dangerous tension. This tension that's robbing us of our empathy, this tension that's robbing us of our ability to see each other as people, this tension that just is minimizing to us all. And we do not have in any way, the type of leadership to lead us out of this. One guy on the other side is playing politics at every single opportunity because that's the way he gets his money and his power. And then the Democrats, the elected leftists, I guess, they don't seem to be able to meet the moment. So unfortunately, with people that are out there, if you want a better community, you're gonna have to make it. It's on you. You're gonna have to get in the street. You're gonna have to push elected officials. You're gonna have to have conversations they're afraid to have, and you're gonna have to face yourself and your community in a very direct way with a courage that the people that you've entrusted do not seem to have, right? And so, I look
They
at
just choose. They playing like they don't have it. They have it.
I saw. Like, I heard Charlie Kirk's been shot. I went on Twitter, and the first thing I saw was a bullet rip through somebody's neck, blood spurt out, and a limp body. Whatever y'all want about me, I'm not gonna be like, yeah. It's impossible.
Yeah.
I can't. The first thing that I did was like react as a person.
Right.
But then I saw something else. After I expressed that and got a lot of questions from the people that look up to me, I saw those same people being denied the empathy that everyone else was asking for. Because why do you think that type of image wouldn't have an effect on somebody? It wouldn't, because they are in a perpetual fight for their life. Mm-hmm. So if you are in a survival matrix, what you are thinking is it's either me or you. And you guys, if you can hear me seriously, think about how profound that is. Think about the profound situation of living in a society where your vote, your job, everything is, you know what, it's either me or you. You can't come back from it. It robs you of the entire set of values that allowed us to have civilization. And if we can't discuss it, if we can't discuss ourselves, if we can't discuss our leaders, if we can't discuss this community that we are actively making every single day, then this is just the first of many things to come. And you won't be safe when you're talking. I won't be safe when I'm talking. Dawn won't be safe to go out in the street and get called a moron by that guy in that hilarious video. None of us will be safe because we're choosing not to be safe.
Wow.
And it's the Hunger Games.
Yeah. Tim,
The Hunger Games.
Tim, I want to get your response if you listen to all that. He said, Van, that was incredible. When your whole existence is survival. DL asked me a question that was rhetorical. I tried to answer it about why are they doing this? Think about the things that they're saying. What do you think is behind this? Who commits these types of crimes? On and on and on. You are the anti-racist extraordinaire. What is happening in this moment?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things. Partly, look, we are in a timeline right now that is eerily reminiscent of the 1870s. It's funny when we talk about fascism, and Don Jr. says we shouldn't call people fascist, although his dad does, not realizing that fascism is a right-wing movement, always has been historically. But when we talk about fascism, people criticize us, and they say, well, we're exaggerating. And then others, even on our side, who say it, will use, let's say, Germany 1933 as the example, or Italy in 1925. But really, we don't have to go to other countries' histories to understand fascism. We can go to look at the overthrow of Reconstruction in 1876 and 77, the last quarter of the 19th century, because that is indeed a period in which a specifically racialized form of fascism took root. And it was so impressive to people like Hitler that later on he comes along and says, you know, what they're doing in the United States, that's what we need to do. And in fact, in Nazi Germany, they actually said that the race laws of the United States were too severe. Like they actually looked at our laws and said, oh, this is way too much. We can't go that far. We can't do a one-drop rule for Jews. That's not tenable. So they learned from us. And when we point that out, we're not doing it to be pithy or cute or just simply hyperbolic. We're doing it because the history fits. So the danger of the moment is that the same kind of political violence which typified that period of intense political violence, that was the birth of the real birth of the Klan, frankly, after, of course, emancipation and all of the various right-wing violence that brought in black codes and brought in Jim Crow and brought in what's called the nadir, the loss of black political rights and freedom, and really the reinstitutionalization of a kind of slavery by another name, as it's been called. That is where we
Again, we the people, our side. Again, for the ones in the back that didn't hear me earlier, as far as they are concerned, making America great again, African American people, that no, that does not include you.
We are right now. When you have someone like CHARLIEKIRK saying, as he did, that the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was wrong and ought to be overturned, that's the kind of thing that no one on the right was saying 20 years ago. They might have thought it, but they weren't saying that 20 years ago, because even they realized, like, man, that's too far. And I remember, you know, as you know, my background, the very first thing I did out of college was I was involved in the anti-David Duke work down in Louisiana in 1990 and 91. David Duke might as well be the head of the RNC right now, because the politics of Dukism have fully transformed into the politics of MAGA. And that's, again, not trying to be hyperbolic. It's just saying that the things that Duke was, even David Duke tried to couch his racism better than CHARLIEKIRK did during his life, tried to couch his racism better than Donald Trump does, tried to couch his racism better than all the folks who are on the right right now on places like
Absolutely amazing that we are going through this in 2025. It's 2025, y'all.
Moment where white supremacy, which has been sort of embedded in the soil and the soul of the nation since the inception. By the way, that's not just me saying that. That's something MLK said. He said that racism was as native to the soil of America as pine trees, sagebrush, and buffalo grass. They don't quote that, Dr. King, on MLK Day, but that's what the man said in the very last article that he ever wrote, which ran in Playboy magazine after his death, and I only know that because I read Playboy for the articles, as the old joke says. But that is something that we don't talk enough about. That's so deeply embedded. But what it does, and this is the insight of critical race theory, right, is that racism and white supremacy, it shape shifts like a transformer, right? Or it's like the old whack-a-mole game. You knock it down over here and it pops back up over here. So it doesn't always look the same. It'll change its form. You know, it'll go from intense color conscious segregation to this sort of weaponized colorblindness, which says, oh, we're just not going to talk about race at all. And we're not going to think about race at all, not realizing for some people that just locks in embedded advantage and embedded white institutionalized privilege. So we are in a period right now that is not new, frankly, in American history, but because we do such a bad job of teaching history, we don't see what's coming. We don't see what this is. We act like, people will say, oh, it's unprecedented. It's not really unprecedented. We have gone down this road before. The only thing that makes it especially dangerous is the fact that in this particular moment, the country is undergoing significant cultural change. We're a thoroughly multicultural nation right now. So much so that you can't pull a thread of entertainment, fashion, cuisine, and culture out and just have it represent just black people or just white people or just Latinx folks or just Asian folks. We're all very hybridized culturally, but that scares some people who were used to white hegemony. The demographic changes that are afoot, which we know in 10 or 15 years are going to render quote unquote white people less than an absolute majority. That scares the shit out of some people who have taken for granted our own normalcy and our own domination. That is what makes it uniquely dangerous. The stuff that's happening has happened before, but these folks are literally in their mind fighting an existential battle for survival. That's why the great replacement theory is so dangerous, because it's not simply saying,
Okay, y'all, can y'all please double tap your screen? I have over 1,200 votes, nowhere near that in likes. Can you double tap the screen of your phone or hit the three dots at the top on your computer or tablet at the top right hand side? Can y'all please get the likes up as we listen and learn and try to understand what's coming, what's to be expected, how you're viewed, how you're looked at, just to get a real good idea of what was planted, what is coming. They are treating him like he is the second coming of Christ. He was, in their mind, in Donald Trump's mind, they had a plan and an agenda. So also with Charlie, they used him. He sacrificed his mouth. I believe that they are wolves in sheep clothing. He said one thing with his mouth, and then the next flip, his actions, and is something totally different. And that's a sacrifice.
Oh, there are people who are, trying to open the borders
Dixon.
and have,
Hello, how are you?
Immigration policy. They're literally saying they are trying to substitute these people for you. That's what CHARLIEKIRK said. They are trying to replace rural white people with something different. His exact words. That is intended to gin up fear, resentment, and anxiety, and we know from our own national history where that leads.
Taylor, I need Taylor to weigh in on this because Taylor has a time an out just to get out soon. Taylor, you are in as Wajan said,
again. Shout out to John Lemon.
You heard what Tim said. You heard what everybody on this panel said. So then, where is this coming from? Do these young people understand? Because a lot of them loved CHARLIEKIRK. Do they understand that his rhetoric and that his views on people, especially minorities, women, gays, all of that, do they understand that it's dangerous or that it's racist or sexist or homophobic or any of those things?
No, I mean, I think most of his supporters don't understand that, and they don't recognize the violence in his rhetoric, unfortunately. And I think that's because the Overton window has been moved so far to the right, as everyone else on the panel has sort of spoken to. Like, we are just in this world where now, these ideas that were previously considered so reprehensible are completely mainstreamed. And so I just thought Tim made so many good points on that. And I also think that, frankly, liberals have fed into this. It was really disappointing to see that, Ezra Klein type thing, and also Vox, Rachel Cohen at Vox wrote this atrocious, headline. And I just, there's just such irresponsible coverage right now that is really whitewashing this man's ideology. And I don't think that we should do that. I think you can agree that there shouldn't be extrajudicial killings on campuses and in the streets, while also acknowledging that this man promoted a very hateful and violent ideology himself. I will say, though, while there are these hyper radicalized online spaces that these guys are marinating in.
Hey, Mark, in all acts, hey, it depends on who you are, but to some people, hate begets hate. So you say because he chooses to be in a same-sex relationship, you say that he has no love for Kirk, but Kirk had no love for him. And, so don't leave that out. we gotta keep it equal, Mark. So why does that? Yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean that. But if, you got to cover both sides in this case, because I've not heard either one of them use the word hate. But I've seen hatefulness come out of Kirk's mouth. Let's go.
The root, that's sort of a symptom of these bigger root problems in our society, and frankly the failures of capitalism. Like, I think a lot of people right now are going to rush to really ban the internet and crack down on the internet and blame the internet for this, but this is so much bigger than the internet. That this radicalization on the internet is a symptom of these bigger structural problems that we have ignored for decades and decades and decades. And a lot of that is the fact that capitalism leaves all of, everyone, we're in this sort of like hyper-capitalist, hyper-wealth stratified situation where a lot of these young men feel hopeless, they feel lost, they feel, just under enormous pressure, and that leads them into these spaces where they're radicalized.
I gotta tell you, I know, but I don't understand, I hear it all the time, especially I have friends, I'm the United Nations, I have friends of all different ethnicities, I have friends of all different socioeconomic backgrounds, and I'm shocked because the friends that I have whose parents are working class or struggling or whatever, the kids are so well-rounded and they have their heads on straight. But a lot of the rich kids are, oh my God, I am oppressed and people are out to get me and I can't get a job and whatever. This guy lived in a suburb of the university where Charlie Kirk was killed, in a $600,000 home. This is in Utah, so that goes a long way.
Wait, John, I'm not trying to say that it's economic anxiety that's driving them to be radicalized. That's not what I'm saying at all.
No, I'm trying to. I
think that's kind of BS. Yeah, no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that we are also lonely and isolated. And I do think that there is a significant mental health crisis among young people. And instead of addressing the root causes of that mental health crisis and of that actual very real loneliness that men and women
these
and
excuses are killing me.
Frankly, caused by so many things. Instead, they're blaming cell phones and the internet, and they're trying to pass all of these horrible censorship laws that we know are going to leave young people actually more isolated, more depressed, and greatly expand the surveillance state, which is going to cause enormous harm, because again, we do not want to pass these laws, especially under someone like Trump. So I'm not saying that they're if they could just get a good job, they wouldn't be spewing this hate. No. A lot of these people are incredibly privileged, but I do think that they're preying on this younger generation that is growing up in this broken society, looking up to these radicalized political leaders that are spewing insane hate. I think that they have this mentality to the world, which is like
so entitlement.
Matters. They're nihilists, and it's hard to not empathize with that nihilism, because when you look around at the world and look at how bleak it is, I think you guys were talking about this before, and I think Tim made this point too, and maybe Dan, but the Democrats are not prepared for this moment even remotely, and they have hardly fought back against this. They continue to just lay down as things get further and further ratcheted to the right.
Yeah, we got to stop laying down.
Provide a stronger counter.
We got to be prepared for what's coming.
Causes of this broader, all of the broader problems that we have in this hyper-capitalist, radicalized hellscape that we live in, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Hey, Janet.
I know you guys want to say some stuff. If you have to go, fine. Taylor, if you guys have to go, I have to get a break in, or because my sponsors are going to kill me. And then I'm going to get a final word from everybody. If you're willing to stay around, it's just 2 minutes. If not, I certainly understand.
Hold on.
A word from our sponsors. 2 minutes.
Sign up for a $1 per. That's true. Why do so many people believe it? And that becomes the ministry. If there's 3 people who believed, 100,000 people who believed in anti-vax science.
Y'all, please hit the like button.
Of some of the ideas.
You have the floor, and then Shalonda.
As to the internet part of this, it's interesting. I think there are a couple of things at play. The internet is another form of speech. It's an amazing tool. There's so many things that have been fantastic from the internet that we've seen. You know, Me Too movement, the Arab Spring. I could go on and on and on and on.
America has a lot of
Black Lives Matter,
freedoms.
how
I
people are
mean,
connected over the internet.
I get it. I understand.
I will say that the mainstreaming of some of the ideas that we deal with right now in our
A lot of
communities, in our society,
hypocrisy.
because they get mainstream.
Are you a hypocrite, Mark? I'm just asking.
When you have
I'm asking for myself. Are you a hypocrite?
The thing that you're doing is the number one commodity. It's the number one goal. It's attention for what you're doing. That means that whatever is getting attention is codified culturally and intellectually. So if there's 3 people who believed, 100,000 people who believed in anti-vax science in 2005, and they had anti-vax science club meetings, and they went to different things, and they put out their little documentaries and all of that stuff. Well, what happened was those 100,000 people, they found a place where they could take that and become.
Mark, are you? You know, he said that he was a firm and strong believer in God. Are you as well? He said he believed in in Jesus Christ. I'm just asking. If you don't want to answer, you don't have to. And you said now you do. Well, I just know. You may be talking to Janet. Okay, I'm gonna leave that alone.
1 million people and become 2 million people, and all of their off-kilter, non-mainstream, non-science-backed ideas, they get a constituency. And then when you or I or anybody else says, well, you know that's like provably false, they go, well, then if that's true, why do so many people believe it? And that becomes the ministry of the new world that we live in. If what you're saying to me is a lie, then why do so many people believe it? Why does Joe Rogan believe it? Why does CHARLIEKIRK believe it? Why do these people believe these things that you're telling me are not only untrue, but also are harmful to your life? Look at the constituency I've built. And with the internet, there is no barrier of entry to that. You don't have to be good enough to have written a book or gotten a publisher or gotten on television or
degree or experience, any of it.
None of that. None of that matters. It just matters that you said something, and for some reason somebody went, well, maybe. Yeah. And now we're off and running. So that's where a part of this conversation sounds like elitism, because someone is going to have to bring social and political intellectualism back to these conversations. We're going to have to agree on what's simply not true. And that seems like such a ridiculous thing to talk about after we've been around for thousands and thousands and thousands of years as human beings. Yeah. But the reasons why we've been around is because there's been a core understanding at some point of what's just not true. That thing that you're talking about that's not real. So
that's why this is so dangerous. And that's why Donald Trump is so dangerous. I hate to cut you off, man, but Representative Jones has to go.
So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, as a person who was born in 1965, as a person who didn't have computers when I was in college, as a person who didn't have social media, where the only thing as a poor person I had was to go outside and play in my neighborhood and go to public schools and have to learn how to get along with everybody. It was just that simple, right? And now we have social media where, like, I literally didn't know that people actually flew on planes and went on vacations. I didn't know where they went. I didn't know what they had, except for what I saw in my neighborhood, where my mother might go borrow some sugar or some eggs or some Crisco oil, right? Now you have social media, where social media has algorithms. So you're on social media, and now you can say, this boy who's my age has this, when nobody actually appreciates that most people put their best selves on social media, where they fix their pictures, where they will pretend like they have a lot of money, or they'll go and go on some vacation and they will show you this. So now all of a sudden, other people are like, well, why does he have this? He's my age, I should have this. Where kids think they deserve what their grown parents have worked years for. Where when I was growing up, People didn't retire till they were 65 or 70 or 75, and you hope you had enough money so that you could help your kids go to college. And then you have that collide with racism, with sexism, with homophobia, with transphobia, and you have this. And so now we don't even watch TV, we don't watch commercials, we're on social media. So social media will put stuff on your feed and they'll see if you watch it. And if you watch it, they'll show you more stuff. I have a friend literally who says ChatGPT is her best friend. In my mind, I'm thinking, what is really going on? How is ChatGPT somebody's best friend? And they tell you what you want to hear. And so they start showing you more and more things. And so what it does is it brainwashes you. Now, here's what's funny. I didn't know who Charlie Kirk was. I had no idea. When I heard he got shot, I was like, was he elected or something? Because of the attention he got. When I listened to what he said, then
Horrible.
people making you or trying to make you feel guilty, saying you should have empathy for a man who is devoid of empathy and who wanted for you to pretend like he was something he wasn't. And my grandmother used to always say, don't throw stones. And Charlie Kirk is an example of what happens when you throw stones. So I just think that social media, which is a form of free speech, so I believe that you can have it, will destroy you and make you go crazy and you don't even know it. And if you're racist, it'll make you more racist and it brings out the worst in people. And so what I think we have to do as the grown-ups in the room is we've got to literally monitor our children, because parents get to do that, what they have access to, because it is leading to people who absolutely believe they have a God-given right to a gun and to kill anybody who doesn't agree with them.
But so here, I think that I love both you and Van, but I think parents are going to shove those phones and those devices in the faces of those kids because it's their babysitter. So I wish that it's true what you said, Representative Jones, but it ain't going to happen.
Nope.
I'll give you the last word here, Tim Wise.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all of that. I think that the thing about social media, and I think everyone has sort of alluded to it, it's not that social media is inherently destructive. It's not that the internet is inherently destructive. It's a tool like any tool. I can build a house with a hammer. I can bash your head in with a hammer. And social media and the internet's the same way. But the algorithms are the problem. The algorithms are intended to feed you more of whatever it is you're watching and to reward and incentivize rage bait, right? So the thing that's going to keep my eyeballs on the page is going to be the clickbaity headline. It's going to be the angry headline. It's going to be the 30-second clip of Charlie Kirk or Ben Shapiro owning the libs at the college, right? It's the stuff that keeps me on there. And the reason Facebook wants that, the reason Instagram wants that, the reason X or Twitter wants that is because that's how they make their advertising money. The longer that you stay on the platform, the more likely that you're going to click one of those ads that eventually comes up. You might not do it if you're only on there for 7 or 8 minutes, but if you're on there for 5 hours a day, the odds are you will. And so they're not going to do nuance. Nuance doesn't put you in a buying mood. Nuance doesn't keep you on the screen. And
this
so
is sad, y'all, that we're having to have these
is
conversations.
also talking about ways of reforming those companies to ensure that they're not simply able to push those algorithms. Because in the early days of some of those social media platforms, the algorithms didn't work that way. You didn't just get fed more of the same stuff, but they figured out when they finally started wanting to make money, and this goes to Taylor's point about capitalism, that it wasn't enough to have this cool platform and all your VC capital that you started it with. You had to keep making money, and the only way you did that was to feed into people's clickbait stuff and also the dopamine receptors in the brain that fire whenever you know, how many of us, I mean, let's be honest, we've all done it. We post something that we think is real smart, and then we're like, I want to see how many likes I got, and we keep refreshing that damn page. Anyone that's spent any time on social media, we've all fallen into that trap. That is a trap, and that is what is able to radicalize people and create that
Tony, why are you?
Reality.
What did Tony say? I didn't see it. Who is Tony?
Says, oh, that person, look at all the money.
Did I miss? Oh, okay.
So when you get
prepare for what?
You know, online that are thinking
nothing's wrong with difference of opinion.
Everybody's got a girlfriend but me. Everybody's got a boyfriend but me. And the reality is,
well, then you know, it's funny that y'all keep saying there's nothing wrong with difference of opinion, and when people don't agree with Trump, he puts them on planes and sends them to Zimbabwe. Or when people don't go along with his agenda, because they see something different, he says, "Oh, that's a fake news," or that's a lie. So there is something wrong with it when people don't respect it. And how can you say what was hateful if it wasn't hateful to you, then it wasn't hateful to you. But you cannot perceive what I perceive. If it was hateful to me, it was hateful to me. It may not have been hateful to you. And for you to come over here and try to steer that narrative is not only hateful, it's disrespectful to me. So again, watch what you say. Because my perception is my reality. And freedom of speech, asked him how he feel about that freedom of speech right now. How you think he feel about it, Tony? You know, why you trying to be sarcastic? Why you trying to be funny? Asked him how. Oh, so he feels great. Okay, well then what's the problem in it? If you think he feels great, well, ask how do you think his wife feels about the freedom of speech right about now. And why are you here? You know what? You came to distract. So guess what I'm going to do? Y'all wave bye to Tony. He's a slow bunny. Bye, slow bunny.
Country are lonely, don't have enough of a circle of friends, don't have a tight social network, but we're real good at presenting that fake image, whether that's on a dating site, whether that's on a social media profile. We have to actually demand that these profit-making companies that profit off of our desperation, profit off of our loneliness, profit off of our anger, profit off of our disaffection from one another, that they've got to clean up their act. That is where lawmakers can come in, not banning things, not shutting down social media, but demanding the kind of reforms that we need as a social positive good.
Thank you all.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Okay.
I appreciate
bye, P. Okay, so listen, I'm finna go here.
I just want
to Memphis. They had a press conference about this, hey, Janet, I saw I'm just not seeing your comment about the National Guards.
Can you believe these are?
And you know, Memphis.
They look like pretty earrings, but
I've been asking for the National Guard.
Announcement to bring
I need the press conference. I want to hear what they have to say. Hold on. Before I go and eat my lobster. Yeah, I know people are losing their job. It says the Ole Miss staff member fired over. Hold on. They losing their job, y'all. Oh, it's not letting me in. They are losing their jobs. Hold on. The jobless acclaim surge. Yeah, all of it was a lie. They trying to revoke visas. Oh my God, this is crazy.
For my fucking job. I was just fired from my job. I was just fired from my job. I was just fired from my fucking job.
Oh, I can't have too many F's.
I am nothing but this website. I am nothing anymore. I am nothing. I am nothing anymore. I am nothing anymore. I am nothing anymore. I am nothing anymore.
I hope he acting. But they saying people are losing their jobs. Let me hurry up and get to this. They are losing it. Okay, let's hear this before I go over there. Oh, what is that? Hold on. Let's hear.
Well, yesterday, sorrowfully, America had the front row seat to see how violence in America has gotten out of hand. To see the death and the murder in broad daylight on the campus of higher learning is absolutely egregious. And all the more for that murder to take place in the presence of a wife and 2 young children is absolutely disgusting. This is a moment where we've got to watch as well as pray. Frederick Douglass said, I got more prayers answered when I got off my knees. So my heart grieves, not just for that wife and those 2 children, but my heart grieves for America, because violence has become common. And this is a critical time for legislators to reevaluate and re-examine why our gun laws have gone forth unchecked. Ladies and gentlemen, I am inundated, as you are, about thoughts and prayers. And we've got to extend beyond that to pray for all of the forms of violence and how it has reared its ugly head in America. You've got to pray, because violence doesn't just come from
Without
guns
cease.
and from closed fists. The violence that is being perpetuated is something that we cannot ignore. In a time that America needs to pause. Only a racist mourns the death of a bigot, and only a fascist will celebrate a white extremist and make it a racist.
No, wait, whoa. Oh, say that again.
In a time that America needs to pause, only a racist mourns the death of a bigot, and only a fascist will celebrate a white extremist and make him a martyr.
Yeah.
Even in death, we cannot sanitize the racial slurs that have been spewed and have been spoken. So we've got to pray. Yes, we got to pray. We got to pray for those who believe that passing the Civil Rights Bill was a mistake. We have to pray for those who would say out loud that George Floyd was a scumbag. We have to pray for those who would openly say without being checked that black women like Sheila Jackson Lee, Michelle Obama, and Kamala Harris lack the fortitude to be able to process. Let's change the landscape of what America deems palatable, digestible, and tolerable. And let us march on until victory is won. I call for the end of all violence, not just guns, but words and threats to HBCUs. God bless you, and let's keep the peace.
Keep the peace. Keep the peace. Keep the peace. Let me get to, we got to keep the peace. Fight the power and keep the peace. Keep the peace. Hold on. Let me get to, oh, is it right here? No, I need the press conference. Oh, here it goes.
Everyone uses the internet.
Mayor Paul Young, full press conference.
Of Memphis,
National Guard, hold on. Let me sit up. Y'all come on in, hit the like button. National Guards. It's been confirmed. Oh, I'm sorry. National Guards and military. He threw that military in, Donald Trump did this morning. and the military. Y'all ready for that? Hold on. Let me see. I need to get some more grip on this. Hold on. Go get you some water or whatever. And then we're going to get out of here. It just keeps getting worse and worse almost. We the people. What does we the people mean to you? What does we the people mean to you? What does we the people mean to you? Trying to see if I can prop it up, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. Hold on. What does we the people mean to you? I think we're in trouble, y'all, but so let me see what I can do. Let's go.
Solidarity. There are people from all different backgrounds. There's elected officials. I want to thank Representative Cohen for being here, Representative Parkinson, City Councilman Ford. I see the chair of the county commission is here, Shante Avant, as well as Mikhail Lowry from the county commission. We have business leaders, clergy, community members. We're all standing in solidarity for Memphis. And I know we have a lot of press here. This press conference will probably get broadcast in a
We
lot
the
of different
people
places.
have reached the
And
turn
as
of...
the eyes of the world are on Memphis, I want the world to know that Memphis stands together. This morning, we learned that the president and the governor are looking to bring federal resources to our city, which
No
include
division, no hate.
the National Guard, which they have the authority to do. I want to be clear, I did not ask for the National Guard, and I don't think it's the way to drive down crime.
We know.
However, that decision has been made. And as mayor of the city that I love, of Memphis, Tennessee, my commitment is to make sure that we work strategically to ensure that this happens in a way that truly benefits and strengthens our community. I want to note that we have been making progress as a city on reducing crime. 13% overall reduction in crime in 2024, 19% reduction in violent crime, 29% reduction in murders, 37% reduction in car thefts, and that's in 2024. And on 2025, we're on pace to beat those numbers. We've been executing a very deliberate strategy, one that focuses on identifying the most violent individuals and groups in the city, and we've seen success. We've invested in a citywide camera network that provides the technology that allows us to capture criminals more quickly. We've recently had a successful FBI initiative in partnership with MPD that has produced significant results. And because of the work and the tireless efforts of our law enforcement, we're seeing double-digit percentage reductions in crime across the board. And I believe that what we should do is double down on those strategies that we know work. I think it's important that I say here as mayor that we know the work is not done. Our city is still far too high on too many of the bad lists. And we're committed to putting in the work to making sure that we do just that. I want to speak to the reality that
far too many Memphians feel. Just over the past couple of weeks, we had a beautiful 901 day celebration, our only holiday. The only holiday that we celebrate. No other place in the country, 901 day. Beautiful celebration. The event was scarred at the end of the night, after everything was over, because we had teenagers that
Mayor,
had a shootout.
too little, too late,
At a
right?
home in Hickory Hill, where 4 residents were shot in their own home.
Hers,
I had
her
an
as
event
well.
just last night, where I was walking through a festival, and there was a daughter that chased me down to hand me a letter that her mama had typed for her to give to me and put in my hand, where she talked about her son that passed away in 2018, and she's still looking for answers. So the pain of violence, we feel it. We know it all too well. To me, this is not about politics. This is not a political stunt for anybody up here. We're talking about real lives. So despite the reductions that we've seen, the crime is still too high and there's still too many victims. That said, we're going to continue to be laser focused on what it takes to reduce crime in our city. We know the National Guard is coming. My plan is to make sure that as mayor, I'm able to work with this community, with the governor, with the federal government, to ensure that the support that is provided supports the initiatives that we know work and not distract from our law enforcement efforts. There are questions that you all have that I'm not going to be able to give you an answer to today. But my team and I are discussing those questions with the governor and the federal government.
They should have been there, though,
When
honestly.
will they come? How many people are going to come? How long will they be here? What are they going to wear? Where are they going to be geographically in the city? What assignments will they have? Those are all questions that we have and that we are going to work through together as a community. And the group that you see here today, as I mentioned earlier, it represents a diverse range of Memphians. I can tell you that there are some that support it and some that don't. But we're all right here together today. Because one thing we do have in common is a love for this city. And I want to close with this, and then I'll open it up for questions. Let me say my ultimate goal after this short-term presence of individuals coming to the city, my ultimate goal is to make sure that we get a long-term partnership and commitment with the state, with the federal government, community partners, that we are going to address the root causes of violent crime, that we're going to be able to access resources for outreach and rehabilitation for people who may have already made bad decisions in their lives, that we're going to invest in the programs that truly address the trauma and much needed mental health services that are needed in our community, that we're going to invest in building a workforce and a pipeline where we're training young people for the trades and the jobs of the future and the ones that they can access quickly, where we're stabilizing communities by investing in housing and small business corridors throughout the city of Memphis. And most importantly, that we all remain committed to raising the level of hope in the hearts of the people that live in this community. Hope is about a clear image of the future and a true belief that that image can be achieved. And for far too many, that hope has been gone. And my goal as mayor is to make sure that all of the things that we do are all centered around elevating that hope. And let me lastly say that Memphis is a special city. It's a special place. We're different. We're already doing the work. And now the world is going to get an opportunity to watch us succeed. All right, thank you. I'll open it up for questions. I will say that I'm probably going to field the questions for now, and then we have a host of people that are here, elected officials. Certainly will allow each of you to be able to pull them to the side as we go, but for the sake of time, I think it's best that I field the questions for now.
And we are gonna ask that you announce your name and your outlet before you ask any questions.
Yes.
Mayor Martin Stone, Fox 13 News. My question for the people out there, Mayor Harris just had a news conference this morning. He said he's a little fearful. For the Memphians out there who are fearful, what's your advice if they get pulled over by the National Guard once they've established their presence here?
Well, I think Mayor Harris probably reflects the concerns of many individuals. And as I mentioned earlier, there are questions that we don't have answers for yet. I don't think the National Guard will be pulling people over, but those are things that we are going to have direct conversations about in the days and weeks to come. I think it's important to note that in terms of timing, this is not happening tomorrow. We have some time to talk through some of those issues and questions, and I expect that we will have a long list of questions that we want to get answered from this community as we have those dialogues.
Ezekiel Telemachus with ABC 24. President Trump this morning on Fox and Friends said that you were happy about this.
Yeah, he did. He sure did.
Yeah, that was an overstatement. I am focused on the resources. FBI, DEA, ATF, those are the things that I believe will truly help us be able to support law enforcement and reduce violent crime. I do not support the National Guard. However, they are coming. It's not the mayor's call. The mayor doesn't have a say to support law enforcement and reduce violent crime. I do not support the National Guard. However, they are coming. It's not the mayor's call. The mayor doesn't have a say or the authority to stop them from coming. And so my goal is to make sure that as they come, that I have an opportunity to work with them to strategize on how they engage in this community.
Ryan, quick question. In terms of what the city can or cannot say in the capacity which will be the National Guard, what does the city have? What power do you have to say in what capacity do you have?
I mean, I think I just answered that. We don't have a say in the National Guard, but our goal is to ensure that we have influence in how they engage in this community. I've spoken with the governor on numerous occasions, and he's been very, very open to that collaboration, as well as the federal government. So we look to have some influence on how they engage.
Mayor, Sam Harden, right now, the city charter review and police chief Davis are the chief law enforcement officers essentially in the city. Would that change with National Guard arrival?
No, that does not change.
And so would they essentially be under command and control of the police department?
There will be a lot of coordination, and obviously this is something we're all new to, so we're going to be learning, working with our attorneys, but Chief Davis will remain the chief of police and continue to drive law enforcement in the city of Memphis.
Mary Imani Williams with Channel 5. In previous cities where we have seen the National Guard come in, they have been focused more in a downtown area. Here in Memphis, it's pretty large, and some Memphians are wondering if they will see people in North Memphis, South Memphis, Fraser, Raleigh, or will we just see them downtown where that's not one of the focus areas previously stated by MPD. So do you expect to see National Guard in other places other than downtown?
Again, that's one of the questions.
The cleanup will get more messy than the dirt. Get your house in order now. You know it's coming. But some of them gonna wanna, flex.
Lee Smith, Tri-State Defender. Memphis is not the first city to have the administration decide they want to bring troops in. What are, we'll just say, some of the best practices or what you have learned from how other cities have handled this?
Well, I've had conversations with Mayor Bowser in D.C., and she has developed a working relationship with the team that is there. And our goal is to make sure that we have a working relationship with whatever team comes to the city.
Hi, Stephen.
So that we can align their efforts.
They gonna get stretched trying to flex. You ain't never lied. Talking about a sharpshooter.
And asked what they thought about this.
What?
Any opportunities for
Wondering if they will see people
Hold
in
on.
Memphis South, Memphis Fraser, Raleigh, or will we just see them downtown where that's not one of the focus areas previously stated by MPD? So do you expect to see National Guard in other places other than downtown?
again, that's one of the questions that we have. We want to make sure that
They gonna start wherever AOB at.
how they come home is still a question, but we don't know the answer to that right now.
Lee Smith, Tri-State Defender. Memphis not.
Oh, they probably gonna be downtown though on the weekend.
The administration decide they want to bring troops in. What are, we'll just say, some of the best practices or what you have learned from how other cities have handled this?
Well, I've had conversations with Mayor Bowser in D.C., and she has developed a working relationship with the team that is there. And our goal is to make sure that we have a working relationship with whatever team comes to the city so that we can align their efforts with the efforts of our law enforcement.
Mayor Johnson, I got a statement from the MPD police officers, and I asked what they thought about this. And the statement says that roughly they're down almost 500 officers, and they welcome the help. What do you say to that?
I would say that any opportunities for us to use the National Guard to supplement our law enforcement efforts is what we will look towards.
What? Did he make that up?
Si vives con VIH,
They-
da el paso
What?
y mirar más allá de hoy.
In Memphis, this is News Channel 3 at 4.
Mobilized in Memphis, it is official. The National Guard will be deployed to the Bluff City. Thanks for joining us for your news leader at 4. I'm Alex Coleman. April has the afternoon off. While there have been rumblings about National Guard members.
REG in Memphis, this is News Channel 3 at 4.
Mobilized in Memphis, it is official. The National Guard will be deployed to the Bluff City. Thanks for joining us for your news leader at 4. I'm Alex Coleman. April has the afternoon off. While there have been rumblings about National Guard members being sent to Memphis to help curb crime, President Trump made the announcement this morning. He says he has the support of the governor and the mayor, although Memphis Mayor Paul Young wanted to clear some things up.
I want to be clear, I did not ask for the National Guard, and I don't think it's the way to drive down crime. However, that decision has been made.
He says there are still plenty of questions about how this will play out. The city called a press conference just a couple of hours ago to discuss what could happen. WREG's Brian Ditlick was there. And Brian, what came out of this meeting?
Yeah, Alex, well, Mayor Young says while the world's eyes are on Memphis, he wants everyone to know that Memphis stands in solidarity when it comes to its reaction to the National Guard coming to the Bluff City. As we...
Oh, wow. I guess it said, lady. I said it's time to... It just cut right on off, didn't it? Hold on. Let me go over here. Hold on. Oh, how embarrassing. It just said bloop. Bloop. Wow. No, what is that? Okay, I'm past that. I'm sure they gone. Hold on. Bloop. That was so mean. CHARLIEKIRK. Oh, his wife speaks. Dang. Okay, let's do this one.
Coverage continues now with General Sessions Court Clerk Tammy Sawyer, who was critical of the president's decision to send troops in. A press conference earlier today. She joins us now to talk more about what the National Guard...
Let's do this. Hold on. Let's go.
Guard's presence could look like in our city. We appreciate you being here on 3 at 3. Good to see you as always.
Good to see you, Alex. Thank you.
We heard the president early this morning saying that it is official. He is sending the National Guard troops to Memphis. He also said Memphis is a troubled city. Your response?
Well, Memphis has been a troubled city for a long time, since the Memphis massacre, since Martin Luther King was assassinated here. We continue to grapple with extreme poverty. Our schools are failing our children. All of things that we would love to have federal assistance, programs that have been cut both by Governor Bill Lee and President Trump. So it's interesting that they believe that the National Guard is the answer to the underlying issues that cause crime.
So you seem to be saying these resources could be better used elsewhere, but still here in Memphis.
Absolutely. As we've seen in these last 2 years of the Trump administration, or this last year, we've had federal budget cuts that have impacted us right here in Memphis. And one of the things that this National Guard is going to do if they come is really overburden our system. I shared earlier that we have now welcomed, the Highway Patrol has increased their patrol of Memphis by
Yeah, I did it. It took y'all too long to do that, though.
And that has led to 1,000 more tickets per day, 70 more arrests per day. And
It took y'all too long.
And full, understaffed, and needs to be rebuilt.
That's what I wanted to ask you about. Paint that picture for us, if you will, especially from your standpoint and your job and what you see on a daily basis when it comes to the criminal justice complex, the 201 Poplar, as a lot of people call it.
Yeah.
How could this possibly be impacted?
You said.
Well, as I've shared, right now in intake, which is where people are held before bail is set, there are about 240 people a day waiting. And we only have chairs for 60 to 80 people. And so, people are saying that's not a symbol of crime going down, but what it is that arrests are going up. And so the response to crime,
I dislike that we have a president who has to lie about everything he's doing. He is inciting hatred and division. Oh, I agree, Janet.
Some of the crimes that could be responded to with just a citation, we're actually arresting people for, and overcrowding the jails. And our staff and our county budget, the county is in dire fiscal straits right now. We did not increase taxes last year. We do not have additional income coming in, and the federal government has cut a lot of funding from the programs that help our community.
But when it comes to crime, you're going to
Well, stop arresting the wrong people.
You will know, talking about the perception here of Memphis, and a lot of people still do not feel safe, and they say it's justified. But what do you say to that when it comes to still bringing in those troops?
When I hear someone like Mark White, for example, who I'm not even sure lives within the city of Memphis, proceed to continuously call Memphis a crime-laden city. And I live on Jackson Avenue, right in North Memphis, and I go back and forth from home to work every day and rarely see much incidence of crime outside of loitering and homelessness, crimes of poverty, crimes that we could be putting resources towards. We're about to cut $1.5 million from the budget for the hub. So when people want to reduce crime, but we don't want to give people any support for homelessness, for drug addiction, for mental health, what are federal troops going to do except come in, bring a bunch of guys from Fayette and Tipton County to come police Black Memphis? And, next thing you know, we've got another Tyree Nichols on our hands.
You were stating a little bit earlier today that you are, quote, terrified about what this means, especially in the city where Tyree Nichols died. What do you mean by that?
Well, what I understand is that the authorization of these federal troops could also be authorized by the governor, which means that these troops will be allowed to arrest. So if the governor authorizes the National Guard alongside Trump and these folks are allowed to arrest, even the sheriff himself is concerned that these are going to be troopers who are not trained in policing. They're National Guardsmen. They're here to guard. They're here to protect. However, they're going to be deputized and used as law enforcement. And what happens when a young guy out of high school is deputized, out of Ripley and comes to Memphis, Tennessee, and, has an altercation with a young man on Bill Street about go stand on the sidewalk. We go viral. Somebody gets hurt.
But I do want to ask you about, what about the accountability of some other local leaders? You probably heard today and yesterday Shelby County Mayor Lee Harris speaking out, saying this is a threat on democracy. We also heard from Mayor Paul Young today saying he didn't ask for the National Guard to come here, but they are coming and we have to essentially kind of deal with it. Your thoughts on our leadership?
Well, I was with Mayor Harris this morning, and Mayor Harris and I seem to agree that democracy is at stake. And as I mentioned, the cities that the president is threatening to occupy, 5 of them are Memphis, D.C., Detroit, New York, and Chicago. And those also happen to be 5 of the 6 blackest cities in this country. It seems like a backlash against the voter base that most heavily voted against Trump. And so, you know, the mayor of Shelby County and I agree that this is an unnecessary move. You know, I think with the mayor of the city, Mayor Young, he did call a large press conference today with several community leaders.
Was that enough to impress you and maybe some others, that show of solidarity, as he put it?
It was a great press conference, you know, and I think it's always great when people can stand together. You know, I participated in a press conference earlier with Mayor Harris, and I do think that what I would have loved to see from Mayor Young was similar to what we saw in Chicago, when Brandon Johnson said, "Not in my city. If you want to help my city, send my city what we need." And I think that Mayor Young has a tough task, but we really hope that there's a little bit more bravado and boom in his voice moving forward towards a man who is literally turning our country quickly into a fascist state.
Tammy Sawyer, thank you for sharing your
Okay,
opinion.
good people.
Right. And
oh, it says 84%. Hold up. It says, hold on. 84% of the people. Bring them on, keep them out, not sure. 84% says bring them on. Memphians say they are ready for the National Guard troops. Bring them on. Okay, good people. Have a good one. I'm about to go eat. Peace.